Hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego landings in Point Loma. Boy, do we have a great guest for you today. We have Captain Conway Bowman. He is like a shark fishing aficionado on the fly, but he's also representing Cast Hope, which is a great organization that does wonderful things for kids. So you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network. Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California.
Morning, boys.
You made it, huh? Congratulations. What a ridiculous thing.
That makes me so mad. Like, I mean, I was solid going on. Saw how heavy the race was. Usually, like when there's a marathon, I'll go out, I'll come down, and I'll come back in through the Sun Harbor way. No way they let people in. So, well, they
wouldn't let you come in this way.
No, they want. So I saw that. I U-turned. I got back. I was like, well, they won't keep people from landing. They'll create a break at some point. So I'm waiting in line at the landing. They have one lane blocked off, so I'm only in one. There's a car on this side, car, and then like that's it. I'm too late for work. Oh, sorry, man. Gotta wait for a break. And like, there's a mile of like, there's just no way. So eventually, a parked car left, and I was able to like go up onto the curb and get around. Came back around and I got into the Westies lot.
Check it out today. Oh, nice. Fishdope.com. Catch more fish, burn less. They even let you walk across the street.
The guy told me I couldn't. I just walked past him. Like, I was like, give me a ticket if you need to, buddy. Like, I'm late for work.
You couldn't walk.
I couldn't break in front of the runners.
The best-selling trucks in America.
I just told him, like, give me a ticket if you need to, bud. I'm late for work.
Good job.
Yeah.
What about the people that are trying to go fishing on half-day boats and stuff?
Oh, dude, that's where I was sending Pete the pictures from. Like, locked up. Like, no, you're not getting.
You're missing the boat.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Captain Jamie Tennis for
I know.
Seasons
Every person that's trying to
for the past few
buy a
seasons,
piece of fishing tackle from my tackle store, like, that's it.
Play in a big
No
way
way.
for tuna offshore.
I hate these marathons so
fish
much.
down
No,
deep.
they're bad for
Avco's
business.
crossbreed jig is
They-
quickly
Except for
become
themselves.
Yeah, they eliminate business.
Yeah.
Like,
came onto the market. Avco's crossbreed
They think,
jig
oh,
is
because
good
it's a
to go
Sunday
right out of the
morning,
package.
nobody's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple hook, heavy duty split ring, West Coast colors, and
But
sizes 60
all good, made
gram
it.
to 120 gram.
here we are.
Pick one up today at your local tackle store or learn more on
Okay.
avco.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a fun day today is. Always love having Conway in here. And, man, talk about a cool thing. Cast Hope is sure a great organization. It's gonna be a fun day today, buddy.
Yeah, it is. Good morning, Conway.
Good morning, gentlemen. How
Great
are
to
you?
have you. Now, you were telling me tall tales of big Makos. Why don't you first, before we start talking about Cast Hope, tell us about your job. You
Day
retired
job.
from the San Diego City Lakes. You were the reservoir keeper up at Hodges, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're retired now at the ripe old age, whatever you are.
Yeah.
Retired.
15. No, I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and now you full-time guide taking people fly fishing for Mako shark.
That's right. Yeah. So I retired a year ago, and the minute I retired, the phone started just blowing up.
I'll bet it did.
And I've been nonstop, probably since May, guiding for Mako sharks on a fly. And to be honest, this is the best year I've ever seen in terms of volume of Makos, size of Makos. And I've been doing this since the mid-90s.
Yeah, right.
And it's been great. And, and it's big game fly fishing, and we're out there, and it's all catch and release. That's the other thing.
100%.
100% catch and release, barbels, hooks, short steel leaders. It's really,
Do you get your flies back?
So I do. So in recent years, I've been tying tube flies, and so they have foam on them, so they float up to the surface once I release the fish.
Oh,
And what's going on with this fishery is a lot of these fish are very large now, and an angler will hook the fish, watch the jump, put them in the air several times, and then I chase them down in a boat. I fish out of a small bay boat, and a lot of times those fish they won't come to the boat. They're big, and they see the boat. And they'll only get within. The closest they'll get is probably 25 feet. So at that point,
like what's big?
Well, I've hooked, or my clients have hooked Makos this year that have been, around 500 to 700 pounds.
Oh
Come on.
my!
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow!
Yeah. And you guys have seen those things
Yeah,
out there.
sure.
Oh yeah!
And I've had a
They're
couple.
out there.
I've had a couple this year that were over 1,000 pounds. These are
Oh.
12-foot Makos
Wow!
in a 24-foot bay boat.
Wow!
And so people see that, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" So my theory behind the bay boat is it's small. It looks like something to eat for them,
Sure,
and they look
yeah.
at it, they charge it like it's a swordfish or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, too, I just want to say, when you say bay boat, you are still a 24-foot center console with a raised deck, not a 13-foot Valco that you want to go fish in the bay in.
No. It's an older Triton 240 LTS. It's 2007. I've had it since 2007.
Yeah.
It's the fishiest boat
It
ever.
lives over in Dana Landing,
right there.
Mission Bay.
You
In
walk,
the pocket.
You
You
walk
can see it.
walk out of the back porch, and there's the seafoam green Triton. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So we get these large Makos. It's funny. These guys hook them, and we hook them up we're catching them on marlin poppers or our orange marlin poppers. They come up, they grab it off the surface. It's a really delicate take too. It's
You
kind
chum them in, or
chum them in.
Yeah.
The guys hook them, fish runs, they jump. I chase them down, and about probably an hour into that battle, they're like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can get this thing to the boat." Which, of course, that's what I tell them right off the bat. It's like, chances of you getting this shark to the boat are pretty slim, but we'll try it. So we get up on the fish, we get as close as we can, and then I just basically pop the leader, and I have a very light. It's a 40-pound.
You can kind of look at the camera and show the
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's called a fuse box tippet.
Yeah.
It's that long, and it's right above the steel leader. And so I can get on that leader, and I'll grab it, and I'll just pop it. So it pops the leader, breaks the fish off.
Got it.
The fly floats up the steel leader
because it's barbless.
It's a tube fly, so it slides up and
It's
down.
like it's sliding
Oh, it's
on the
tube.
leader line.
Yeah, and that
Oh.
floats. I grab that. The fish swims away. He only has a steel leader about that long hanging out of his mouth, and it's a barbless hook.
Which he'll probably shake quickly anyway.
He'll shake it out.
But your
Yeah.
barb, your fly goes up immediately because it floats to the surface, and now
That's
there's
right.
nothing stopping it on the
Yeah.
back.
You're not reaching in that mouth.
Oh no. Heck no.
No.
But the smaller ones, yeah, I'll do a proper release stick release on fish up to about 150, 200 pounds.
Wow.
But then after that, it's like, nah, it's not.
Because
that's
they'll end up in the boat sometimes.
Well,
right?
they will. And
Yeah. Has that ever happened?
Yes. And
I love that. There was a
Michelle,
instant hesitation.
Michelle,
Yeah.
it happened. No, I'm telling my wife. No, it has, and it's not fun. Thank God, not a large one. Not large fish. But I've had them over the years, jump in the boat,
Trying to
a long
release
time.
them.
Well, no, actually not. When the angler makes the hook set and the fish is coming right at the boat,
Oh.
if the fish doesn't turn away from the boat and you stick them and they feel that hook, they go crazy, and then they'll just jump, and they'll jump right at the boat. And they'll clear the water 10, 15 feet.
Sure.
So when that happens, you get a 5-gallon bucket. You got to put it over their head. You got to basically have the other angler pick up the tail, and you basically, take it, put it over the gunnel rail and dump it in the water, and then it swims away. They're really tough
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah. I can't imagine what having like snapping jaws inside your boat is like.
No, it's crazy.
That
Yeah.
just got stuck.
Yeah.
Green
So,
as could be.
A mad one.
Well, so
Yeah.
so these fish in recent years, and especially this year, have been getting very big. I had one grab my prop and my anti-cavitation plate on my outboard, and I stand on a Yeti cooler in the back at the stern of the boat to sight the fish when they come in.
Yeah.
This fish was one of those 1,000-pounders. It literally grabbed the anti-cavitation plate and the prop, and it was rocking the boat back
Come
and forth.
on.
And knocked.
Come on.
I'm not kidding. And it knocked me off the Yeti cooler.
Wow.
It was insane. It was like a scene out of Jaws.
Wow.
But then it starts swimming the boat in a circle like this.
Just
And
sizing you up.
it was crazy.
How big?
Oh, that's wild.
Over 1,000 pounds. It was
1,000.
12 feet long. So whatever that is. What do you think?
As big as the
giant,
boat.
like
Half the size of my boat.
half the size of your boat.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But it's like,
mammal eater.
yeah, what's that?
Mammal eater.
Yes, mammal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
The ones we want around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's been unbelievable. And I've seen so many more big fish, which is great. But I
Yeah.
think it's because of the presence of the larger food item, which is the bluefin tuna. I think they follow them up, and then
Yeah.
they just stick around now. And yeah, it's been great.
Could I ask you a big favor?
Sure.
Can you drag some of these big ones over to the Coronado Islands and eat some sea lions?
I know. Well, I think they're
mean-
concentrated off La Jolla now.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of great whites too. That's the
Have
other-
you?
Oh,
I bet,
yes.
yeah.
I've seen
Interesting.
8 great whites this year.
This
8
year.
great whites. Big ones?
2 big ones, and most of the other ones were 200, 300 pounds. So juveniles.
Yeah. So do you just get the fly out of the way?
Oh yeah,
when
we
you see
just
them?
watch them. Yeah, you can't. People say, "Can I hook it?" It's illegal. You can't
It's
do
illegal,
that. Just
yeah.
watch them.
Just-
They're a different creature though. They're not like a Mako. They're not aggressive. They come around the boat like an elephant walking through the jungle. They're just kind of looking at you. Whereas a big Mako, they want to attack the boat.
That's one of
Yeah.
my most favorite
Huh.
fish in the world to see in the water. Like they come in like a fighter jet. Like
That's right.
there's no other animal like that. They're so just sleek, and the way they turn in the water, like they are the coolest.
They are the coolest. And
Yeah.
I honestly think, and Zane Gray agreed, that they were one of the greatest game fish in the ocean. And they're right here. And we
And
can
they're right
target
here.
them on a fly. And people still look at me, what? You're targeting Makos on a fly? And yeah, it's great.
What weight fly rod?
Well, so I have custom rods made now.
I
So they're
believe
one
it.
piece. They're made out of various blanks, some CalStar blanks, and some other blanks. They're out of New Zealand. I can't remember the name of them, but yeah. And I guess they would be rated at 20 weights, 30 weights. They're heavy duty.
Yeah.
And they're one piece, so you can really
Like custom reels too?
No. The fly reels these days are making some pretty big ones.
Yeah.
But the reel is just, you hook them, you let them run, and then you're chasing them down. So it's just basically a kind of a wench just to get the line in.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Makos is oftentimes they don't sound on you; they stay on the surface. Because with a fly rod, you're only putting a maximum amount of pressure. It's probably maybe 15 pounds of pressure. That's it. So they're not fighting pressure, so they stay up on the surface.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool way to fish. It's different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bow hunting grizzly bears with a recurve bow. It kind of
Yeah,
it's
right.
the ultimate,
The ultimate
challenge.
angling challenge.
Yeah, it is.
And you're booked. I mean, you're like book solid all into next year.
I am.
almost.
I am.
Do you have any, like, if somebody wants to go, I got to try this?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
yeah.
have
Oh,
availability.
yeah. I've got it. Yeah.
How do people book with you?
Just ConwayBowman.com.
ConwayBowman.com.
Yeah. Or you can get like Instagram, Conway
Yeah.
Bowman. That's a good one. And there are a lot of great photos on there too of the
On
Makos.
Instagram, Conway
Yeah.
Bowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The other thing that I just want to say it's so cool is like you by no means need to be a seasoned, perfect fly caster, fly fisherman to go do that with Conway too. I mean, if you've never picked up a fly rod in your life, but you love the ocean and fishing and tuna fishing and the thought of seeing one of those things come in, like you could put somebody on one, no problem with making a short cast, right? Like that's all I'm saying is you don't need to be a seasoned expert to go do
No,
this.
you don't. You can. I get a fair amount of anglers that have never even casted a fly rod, and they make a 25-foot cast. I can get them to do that really quickly, and then it's just a matter of watching that shark take that fly and then setting the hook correctly. And I can walk them through that.
Yeah, totally.
And then they're on the biggest fish of their life, and they're watching that thing jump, and it is insane.
I just encourage people to do it
Pretty
so much
cool.
because it is so cool.
yeah.
And you've probably done a lot of cool fishing, and you'll just be amazed that a fishery like that is in your backyard, and seeing one of those things come into the boat, and then what they do when you get a hook into them. It's so sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate that we have this great fishery.
Yeah, it is.
It's really cool.
And this year is a stellar year.
it's a great year. And
Yeah.
it's just
Just an abundance of food around, and they're eating machines.
yeah, I
right?
think so. And I think that somebody was telling me, since they banned long-lining, how many years ago was that?
Long time.
A long time. We're seeing those fish now.
Yeah.
The ones that recruiting class is coming back now. That whatever it was 20 years ago, those sharks are now coming back that were probably pupped at that point.
Great to see them.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So talk about Cast Hope.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is a big event coming up here and next week.
Yeah, next week, next Saturday, August
Next-
24th. So
a week
Cast
from
Hope
yesterday.
Yeah. So Cast Hope is an organization that I run in San Diego. It started in Chico about 15 years ago. And so I was asked to be the regional director 4 years ago. And every year we do a fundraiser, right? And so what Cast Hope does, it takes, kids and a mentor fishing, and we teach them how to fish. We just don't take them out and put them on fish. We teach them the fundamentals of fishing. It started as a fly fishing focused program, but when we opened up San Diego, fly fishing isn't a big thing down here. We don't have trout streams, so we expanded it more into fishing. So we're teaching kids how to fish. Now, fly fishing is a big part of it. We teach them how to fly cast, but each mentor and each kid has the opportunity to go fishing with us every month. We provide a guide. We provide whatever they need. We have 2 boats that we use. We go to the local lakes also. Doesn't cost them a penny. We bring all the tackle, but we're teaching them how to fish.
And how do you find the kids?
So we work with some of the school districts in town. My right-hand man, Manny Aceves, is connected with the Spring Valley school system and the San Diego school system. and he brings those kids into the program, and yeah, that's it. And then so we're branching out now with military families, law enforcement, because when you talk about at-risk kids just aren't inner city kids.
Right.
Every kid is at risk if they have a parent that is working as a police officer, as a fireman, if they're in the military. There's always that, and parents are like pillars, right? So one parent's over here, and you have one parent at home, but they have to kind of manage the kids.
Sure.
So at risk, I've defined that as not just kids from the inner city, they're everywhere. And so we're trying to expand the program out to all those communities, and it's working great.
That's awesome.
And so, we do seminars. We do 3 seminars a year. But the other great thing about the program is it's just not about fishing. It's about service. So the kids have to give us 1 service day a year. They have to go out and do a trash pickup, or they have to contribute something somewhere in the community. So whether it's planting trees in a wetlands, or it's doing a trash pickup. And then we have a science day. They come out and we take them tide pooling. We go to a water quality lab for the city of San Diego. We walk them through that. We take them to scripts. And we have microscopes set up for them that they can look at things. When we're at one of the lakes, we'll take the water out of the lake, and we'll look through a microscope at that stuff. And that inspires kids to do other things too. And I always say this: fishing is just the door that opens up greater opportunity for kids. So we start with fishing, but we have kids in our program that are more into the science. We have kids that are in the program that are more into the service. We have kids that are in the program that are more into the fly tying part of it. They don't want to pick up a fly rod. They just want to tie flies. So it's more of an artistic thing for them.
Neat.
Fly fishing, because it started as a fly fishing program, for me, it's a great teaching tool for kids too.
Sure.
And what it does, fly casting you have to build a great foundation to be a good fly caster. So understanding the position of the rod, line speed, and then as you progress through those steps, you start setting incremental goals. So your first goal is a 30-foot cast. Boom, you hit it. The second goal is a 40-foot cast. The third goal is a 50-foot cast. So I take that in our seminars, and I say, you're as a kid, you have to set goals. You have to have a good fundamental. You have to have good fundamentals, and then you achieve those incremental goals, right? And so that's a
great idea.
That's a metaphor for life for these kids. And when you explain that to them as you're teaching them how to cast a fly rod, it clicks. So it's not only about the fly fishing and the fly casting, and those incremental goals of 30, 40, and 50 feet. Those tools can be applied to life. So you're in school, get good grades, achieve your goals, get a good grade on a test. If you're in sports, achieve your goal. You want to be the best baseball player, then start working towards that. But it's little things first. It's that 30-foot cast. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. So the event next Saturday is what?
It's a cornhole tournament at Alesmith Brewery at 6 p.m., 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay, where is Alesmith?
Alesmith is in Kearney Mesa.
Okay.
It's a great brewery. It's awesome. And we've got the whole back room. We have Traeger coming in. They're going to do the barbecue.
Wow.
And Alesmith's going to provide the brew. And it's going to be a really fun tournament. $175 per team. If you don't want to participate,
cornhole is the game that you throw into the little
right
in the little circle, right?
And everybody can do it.
It's an easy game.
Yeah, it's not like having a poker tournament. Like if I went to a poker tournament, I'd be like, I don't even know how to play poker.
It's kind of like horseshoes, but easier.
Yes. And more fun. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be great. It's going to be laid back. Come out, support the kids, $175. Or if you don't want to participate in the tournament, it's $50 to get in to get the food. And man, we have some dynamite raffle items from Orvis, from Yeti. Yeti's a big sponsor this year.
Nice.
They've really stepped up to the plate. We've got some great destination auction items. And it's gonna be, and my brother-in-law, Sean Stiles, is going to donate.
That's your brother-in-law.
Yeah. He's going to donate a dinner, a private dinner for people at a beautiful house in Escondido. So
Quite the chef.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. So it's going to be great. But ultimately, it's to raise money for these kids in our program, because we have to buy all the tackle. Yeah. We have to do all the stuff. Right. And as you know, it's tough. It's tough to keep the program going without the funds coming in. So,
how many kids have been through the program?
6,000. Oh,
wow.
But not the San Diego program.
Right.
But 6,000 since its inception, but 600 in our program.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So it's in different
It is. It's in Chico. It's in Reno, San Diego, and they're opening up a chapter in Montana.
Great.
But what makes our program great is we're building a long-term relationship with the kids and the mentor. So our guides continue to fish with the mentor and kid that they've built a relationship with. And that's when it really becomes magical. It's not like just going fishing one day and see you next year. It's like they become friends, they become part of the family, and they're learning not only fishing, but they're learning life lessons. They're learning about achieving those goals, setting those goals. And it's awesome. It's great.
How fantastic. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. A lot to talk about with Conway Bowman from Fly Fishing for Sharks, some of his adventures. Maybe you can give us some tips on fishing Hodges. Who knows, right? and of course, Cass Hope, taking care of good kids.
I want to peel a GT story or two out
of
I can do that. I can do that.
We're going to have a great time this morning talking so much great fishing and such an unbelievable organization. Just going to be a lot of fun and a great show. And we would love to have you join us this morning. If you want to participate in Let's Talk Hookup, give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is how you reach us on the phones, or you can send us a text. Text the show option, so popular anymore here on Let's Talk Hookup. We already got a bunch of great texts rolling in before we even start taking them. If you want to text the show, the only way to do that is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. And we've been really touting it lately, but it's the truth. The most important thing you can do if you're a fan of Let's Talk Hookup is have that Let's Talk Hookup app. Regardless of how you take in today's show or what the easiest way for you to listen to Let's Talk Hookup, there will always be Let's Talk Hookup playing on that Let's Talk Hookup app, no matter what's going on, and a great source of information for whatever is changing, like the announcement of the new, live on Facebook.
And don't forget, watching YouTube now, YouTube and Facebook.
Totally.
We had a couple thousand people watching us yesterday, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, for the inception, I thought that was great.
Yeah. So Let's Talk Hookup Radio Show and Let's Talk Hookup Radio Show on YouTube or Facebook. Just go, or you can just go to our website or our app. The easiest way is just go to our app, and all our social medias are on there. Just click on that, and you'll be able to watch us right now live on Facebook or YouTube. Yeah, we're having a great time. It's going to be a really fun show. Again, if you want to join us, if you want to participate, give us a call, 213-432-1090. Not only are we doing all that great fun stuff and, getting to hear all the archived shows on the app and getting to call in and talk to Conway, we are also giving away a really cool prize for one lucky caller or texter at the end of today's show. And that's going to be determined by the coin flip. Everybody's going to get to see the prize coin now at the streaming live. And one lucky caller or texter is going to win a $300 gift certificate to Costa Sunglasses. We talk about this prize all the time. It's my favorite. You basically are given $300 to get to do as you wish on Costa's website, whether that be get a high-end pair of glasses and spend all your money on the best shades. You can get a couple of pairs of different glasses, maybe go polycarbonate. You can spend the extra money on some of the great Costa gear, whatever you want, $300 coming your way to Costa. How cool is that? Yeah. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. We're going to be reading those texts, catch reports, and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
Hey guys, this is Ali Husseini from Local Knowledge and BD Outdoors.
So just so you know, I haven't figured out how to turn off.
And one thing I'm really grateful for is my little brother
break.
Yosef. Yosef is not only a fellow angler, but he's also an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find
tall that'll give both myself and my guests a comfortable, dry ride. West Coast.
That's right.
Some great looking bass boats. But if you have any other questions, feel free to call Nick
How are you doing,
Kelly
Ricky?
I'm
or
good,
Kyle
buddy. Yeah,
Mesa
good.
at
Just
West Coast Marine and
working
Costa
and
Mesa,
fishing
we'll
and
see
chasing the
you
boys
on the
around.
water.
And
You got two boys
Two
now?
boys now, yeah.
How old are they?
West Coast Marine and Costa Mesa is
One will
your
be
source
3
for
in
Cayman
January,
boats, as
and
well
the
as
other
Parker
is
boats,
9
Yamaha
months.
outboards, and now
Yeah,
Mercury
yeah, we're
outboards.
fine.
Sales and
Good.
service, the finest
Good.
you can find.
Get
Go
ready.
see Nick and the guys
Yeah.
at West Coast Marine on Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check
Wyatt came,
westcoastmarine.com.
My wife had the day off
Hey everyone,
yesterday, so
James
we,
Holst here with
we
Norsk
all rode
Lithium,
down
the
there
official
together. We
battery
went out
partner of
yesterday, and
Let's Talk
some boys
Hookup.
came down
Here at Norsk
after the show,
Lithium,
and
we have
Wyatt's
2
just like,
goals that drive who we are and what
just
we do.
so
The first is to make
curious.
the highest
Everything.
quality, longest
See
lasting
what a grab
lithium
wanna
batteries
do, like,
available
yeah.
with a complete
He knows his
lineup
way
of
around the
batteries
tackle
that
store really
include
good.
12,
Like,
24,
really good time.
36
Just
volt,
as soon as you
and
go to the
starting
shop.
batteries.
Step on the
Second,
pedal
in
for the line
addition to
machine,
offering a
make the
10-year
line machine
warranty
go,
on
like
all
knows where all the
Norsk Lithium
doors and
marine
slides
batteries,
move
we
around.
provide amazing
It's going
customer
to be wine and
service
line in no
before
time.
Oh, dude,
and after
totally.
the sale.
Yeah.
Check us out online at
Working on a big
norsklithium.com.
twist here.
Okay, here we go.
RSKLithium.com or call us at 831-232-9063. Or to see Norsk Lithium batteries in person, stop by the Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood or Anglers Marine in Anaheim and see why Norsk Lithium batteries should be in your boat.
No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered. Norsk Lithium.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here already this morning. So much fun having Conway in studio, talking Cast Hope, talking all the great fly fishing. Just going to be a fun day. Again, busy morning on the phones. They're already stacked up. But if you want to get your shot, it's 213-432-1090.
Yeah, for sure. Conway Bowman here. For sure. Having a great time. I want to hear more about those giant Makos. I mean, so is there ever one that comes into the chum line that you say, no, we're not going to hook this guy?
Oh yeah. Oh sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too big.
Well, yeah.
I literally don't believe you.
Well-
You're just blowing that up. I've known you long enough. I've known you long enough to know I do not believe you.
Okay, so it's not me.
Yeah, okay.
It's the angler.
That
And
I can handle.
I had an angler.
Yeah.
This big Mako came in, and so before the fish came in, I asked the guy, "What's the biggest fish you've ever caught on a fly?" And he said, "Well, it's a 12-inch brook trout." He was from Vermont. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I think we might beat that today." Well, the first shark that shows up is like a 500-pounder. The guy looks at that fish and sits down and goes, "Nope, I can't do that."
Don't want that.
Yeah.
Did you hook it?
No, I let it. And the guy was like, he was going, "Oh my," and he was like freaked out. So I said, "Okay, well, if we just hang out a while, maybe a smaller one will show up." And so lo and behold, an hour later, like a 40-pounder came in. Guy said, "I think I can do that." So he hooks it, brings it to the boat, we release it. And so we talk about confidence, right? When you're big game fishing, you
Right.
sort of you catch a small one, then then your confidence is built and you get a bigger one. So that 500-pounder showed up again like 2 hours later. And I knew it because it had rammed the bottom of my boat and had a big streak of anti-fouling paint on its head.
Oh,
And I go, there he is again. And he's like, "Oh my." And so the guy said, "Oh, I think I can do this," because he had caught the
Yeah,
smaller one.
yeah.
And he hooked it and got it to the boat. And he was
Wow.
like, and it changed his life. That guy now is like a big time tarpon tournament fisherman.
No
and that,
kidding.
Wow.
yeah, he totally got possessed by the saltwater fly fishing bug. And it all started right here on the Mako sharks. But literally, he saw that first fish. He's like, "Nope, I can't do that."
Don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, hey, let's jump into the phones. Are packing up. We have some great texts. You want to get through 213-432-1090. I guess we have a young man on the line, Tyler.
Taylor from California. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Taylor? Good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey,
Hey, Tyler. How old are you?
Hey, Taylor.
Taylor or Tyler?
13.
You're 13.
Taylor.
Taylor. All right.
Hey, Taylor.
Yeah.
And you like going fishing?
Oh yeah, I love it.
What kind of fishing do you
I've
do,
been
Taylor?
fishing all my life. Saltwater.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's your biggest fish?
Ooh, a big bat ray.
Big
Ooh.
bat
Yeah,
ray.
there we go.
Mud marlin.
Perfect.
Yeah.
15 inches wing to wing.
That's a big one.
Almost fooled me twice.
That's a
That's
big
right.
one. Yeah,
It was
for
quick.
sure. How did you get into fishing?
I I've kind of just been fishing all my life, but like one day my dad brought a rod home when I was little, and then I grabbed it, and then I wouldn't let go, and then I just went fishing, and then I loved it.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Great. Well, you ought to go Mako shark fishing with Conway sometime.
You want to see a Mako shark?
Sure. One time we were Mako shark fishing out of like San Diego. We hooked up onto like a big one. It couldn't even jump all the way out of the water. It jumped halfway.
Oh man, that's a big one.
And then I got scared.
Yeah, that would scare me too.
That is a big one.
Well, that's cool, Taylor.
Well,
It was bigger than the boat.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would have been.
You
really
need a
scared.
bigger boat.
You need a bigger boat.
To quote an old saying, right? Hey, Taylor, thanks for joining us here. And yeah, that's kind of the spirit. Appreciate that. And you keep fishing out there. Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Awesome.
That's kind of the spirit of the whole thing. Coming up next Saturday, right? The event.
That's right.
Is it adults only because it's at a brewery?
Adults only, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the spirit, though. You know, just the goal is to raise some money,
raise
for these
money
kids.
to take kids like
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it is really inspiring to have a kid like Taylor call into the show.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, my dad took the time out every weekend to take me fishing. And these kids that we have, a lot of they're single parent homes. They oftentimes they don't have a parent that will take them out. They don't have the opportunity. So my father that's what he did. And I mean, God bless his soul. We spent so many times on the water and going to Stanley, Idaho, going to everywhere. I mean, fly fishing bonita out here in the Mission Bay Channel in the early 70s. But he took the time to do that, and it changed my life. And that's why I'm sitting here right now talking to you.
Right.
So I want kids to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And fishing changes lives, but it's the experiences through fishing that really changes your life. It's spending time with that person, whether it's your mom, your dad, your uncle, your brother. Those are the memories that you hold down the line.
Totally.
No doubt about it.
And
I have them.
yeah,
Ricky has them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not even the fish you catch. It's the connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So does Cast Hope have a website and can people check out not only the event on Saturday, but also how to get involved in Cast
That's
Hope?
right. So casthope.org. If you want to go to the event, you can register right there, and we prefer that you do that.
Oh,
so
okay.
just to
Right
go
online.
to casthope.org.
And the event's next Saturday evening. At what
August
time?
24th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And it goes till 9. So casthope.org, and also you get all the information about Cast Hope, what we do, what regions we serve, and our goal to help kids out and keep them connected with their mentors and the outdoors.
That's cool. That's cool. Another great organization we talked about yesterday, and that's Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea, aka Friends of Rollo. And of course, you see the real Rado Week, Rado Week promotion. It went very, very well. A lot of our listeners bought tickets. Tickets are $25, or you get 5 for $100. And if you buy 5, you also get into that special drawing for the 2-day trip on the American Angler and Brian Kierhar's rod.
Yeah, completely refinished 524 Harnell that lived on the Royal Polaris, that was fished with Captain Rollo, fished with Brian Kiyahara. That was a Harnell boat rod, hook and hand. Think of the
piece of history
and life on that. And so not only are you
that's
getting
week
that
12.
rod, they took that rod, refinished it, brought it back to new condition, all the love, all the history, and somebody's going to win that at the end if you buy $100 worth of tickets.
Yeah,
you get into that special side drawing.
Easy to do. You call Tim, leave a message, 951-264-7382, or just email him at win@rollokids.org, win@rollokids.org, and he will call you back and get you set up.
Totally. Hey, I had one to announce too. We just got, it was so wild yesterday, first day, new things, and I really wanted to talk about it yesterday and missed it, but it's going on this morning, and it's a fisherman swap meet, and it's over at Lake Jennings in Lakeside, and it's put on by the San Diego Council of Bass Clubs. Bruce Smith was talking about it yesterday, and it's just a same deal. It's just a good get together, and the guys did a great job of putting a bunch of people. So it's at Lake Jennings, started this morning at 6 a.m. It's going on right now, all the way until 1 p.m. No charge to go in or anything. And in addition to obviously buying a bunch of hopefully cool gear at the swap meet, there's opportunity to talk to all the different bass clubs that are out there. And just a really cool event. And I wanted to mention to the boys yesterday, Apologies, it got crazy in here with the new YouTube and new stream and everything. But again, a very cool opportunity at Lake Jennings going on right now.
Very good. All right. I have great text here from Rob in Seal Beach, and he says, "Good morning, guys. I have a question for Conway. Once you hook the Mako, describe how it fights when you hook a blue in comparison to a bluefin tuna, which stays in service until they know they're hooked. What does a Mako do?"
So a Mako shark, when you cast a fly to them and you catch them off the surface, a lot of times it's not a really aggressive take. It's more of a kind of a searching take, and they'll kind of grab the fly kind of softly off the surface, and once they realize they're hooked, then they take off. But I will tell you this: sometimes they kind of hang around the boat for a little while, for a few seconds, because you have to understand a large predator like a Mako shark is used to attacking something and getting poked in the face and kind of hanging around. They don't have a fight or flight sort of like a reaction sometimes. So sometimes you'll hook them, they'll kind of hang around the boat, and that's not the ideal situation for me or the angler, because if that fish doesn't move away from the boat, once it realizes it's hooked and it's close to the boat, then they can like jump in the boat.
Can be dangerous.
But I'll say this: most times you'll hook them, they'll turn away from the boat, and once they feel that hook in the corner of their mouth, they take off. And
they take off hard,
very fast. I mean, they will move out 30 miles an hour. I am not kidding.
Wow.
You will be on a fly rod. You'll be in your backing 300 yards within like seconds. I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
And then they're jumping
kind of like a marlin,
just like a marlin.
Really?
Same thing. And they'll run, then they'll jump. They'll jump 20. They'll jump 3 times their body length, and it's insane to watch.
Whoa.
Wow.
They're the most spectacular fish you've ever seen jump in salt water. And we've all seen marlin jump, but Makos are insane.
And now we can see pictures of that probably on your Instagram,
So,
Conway Bowman.
Yeah, go to my Instagram, and I've got photos of these wonderful creatures jumping out of the water.
Sick.
So
Wow.
once they jump, they settle down, and then because you're not putting a lot of pressure on the fish with a fly rod, at most you're putting 15 pounds of pressure, and that's the high end. They're not fighting the resistance of that pressure, so they
Right.
stay on the surface. And so what I will do is I will run them down in my boat, and I'll slide up alongside of them, and then I'll get the release. So
Nice.
they rarely sound on you. If a Mako shark sounds and you're in, let's say, 1,000 feet of water, see ya. There's
It's over.
no way you're getting
not
them back.
moving them.
Nope.
Yeah.
On conventional gear, I caught a massive Mako off Catalina a number of years ago, and it 5.5 hours to get that thing to the boat. And
5.5
5.5
hours.
The guide said it was 1,300 pounds or bigger. It was
Whoa.
massive. But the reason why it took so long is because I had a lot of pressure on that fish, and it just kept moving away from the pressure.
Yeah.
With a fly rod, there's not a lot of pressure. They take off, they jump, and they settle down, and then you just run up on them. So it's really great. So you can get these very large fish to the boat with light tackle.
Pretty amazing.
It's cool.
So let's talk about catch and release for a second, because this is so important with Mako sharks and the future of that. It's a very vulnerable species.
It is.
And you release 100% of those fish. And I will say this too: fly fishing for Makos is not a amateur game. You need to know what you're doing.
You do. They're extremely. They can be very dangerous. So it's sort of you can't just go out there and just willy-nilly.
Like, I'm going to go catch one on fly, right?
Yeah. So the reason it's a little more dicey is because of the size skiff that I fish out of, right? But I need that skiff to really have these fish react the way I want them to. It's a small skiff. It's something like I said earlier, they're coming in, they're hunting you down. And this is the only thing in fishing, in fly fishing, for sure, is that where you're
hunting you.
You're getting hunted by what you're trying to target.
That is so true.
So that's
wild.
the dynamic that it's like, whoa. So once you're out there, it's like, okay, now I'm in their neighborhood and they're hunting me down. But releasing them, I mean, that's why I use a barbless hook. When you release them, you have to get right close to their face to get that hook out of the corner of the mouth. Now, if it's a big fish, I'll go ahead and pop the leader, that little fuse box tippet I talked about.
Right.
And that's the safest way to do it. But they are a dicey fish at times, just like a marlin. Marlin can be dicey. But the thing is, the business end of a Mako shark oftentimes is right in your face. And so I always suggest, if you're going to go out and do this, make sure you have somebody that understands how to leader a fish, that understands the dynamics of a large game fish, They are a fish you don't want to mess around with.
Yeah. Even on conventional tackle.
Even on conventional tackle. And with conventional tackle, I think they even get more squirrely because of the pressure you're putting on them with that conventional gear.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Yeah.
So a fly rod, you have the advantage of the light pressure. So they're sort of like, they kind of settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
With that heavy gear, I mean, you're always on them, right?
Right.
And you have the big cable and the big hook, yanking at their, the corner of their mouth. I mean, I use Gamakatsu 10-aught hooks. They're a very kind of a smaller hook. And those are really small compared to what a lot of guys shark fish with.
Sure.
But back to catch and release, I've never killed a Mako, and I've been doing this over 25 years. I've had guys offer me a ton of dough to keep one for the record books, and I will not do it because they are a vulnerable species.
Right. Yeah.
However, I will say this: I'm not against people keeping Mako sharks as long as it's reasonable, not going out and slaughtering a bunch of. I think that the larger Makos probably shouldn't be killed.
Yeah,
I just don't,
because that's a breeder.
Those are the breeders. Yeah, I think that a smaller one's fine, but you
like a 50-pounder,
50-pounder, even 100-pounder. Those aren't really sexually mature, but those big giant females, they should not be killed. They're carrying pups. It takes 19 months for them. So the gestation cycle is 19 months. Almost 2 years.
Wow.
And they only have, I think, 5 to 10 pups.
And they have live birth.
They have live birth.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, in vitro, they start off probably with 25 pups. The most dominant pups eat the weaker ones.
No really?
Yes.
And there's only one.
No. You got 25. Well, they wheedle it down to 10, probably something. So they eat the weaker ones. So the ones that aren't going to make it, the little guys are eating them in mom's belly.
Wow.
And then when she has them, they're killers.
They're eating machines.
Yeah. And there's a word for that. And I don't know what it is. Some biologist could probably tell me, but it's a tough neighborhood in vitro, and it's a tough neighborhood when they get out.
Holy mackerel.
They're bad.
But we encourage everybody to release the sharks because you like sea lions. They like sea lions.
Oh, they love
sea lions. So the more of those big ones that are around, the less sea lions we're going to be around. Right.
Exactly.
And that's their food. That's our food source.
It's a food item.
Fact of life.
That's right. And yeah. And I always say it's a tough neighborhood in that chum slick. It's like, and I had a sea.
Do you ever see sea lions in your chum slick?
All the time. And I have Makos chase them away. In fact, I had a Mako attack a sea lion earlier this year.
Sweet.
And I will tell you this, it was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen.
Really?
But it's life.
That's right. That's their food source.
There is no equality in that chum slick, man.
No.
It's like these things come in, and if a big Mako's in there and a sea lion comes in, bye-bye. They give them one chance. They'll chase them away once. If they're dumb enough to come back a second time, they're dead.
Do you think Mako sharks are pretty smart?
I don't think.
I mean, relative speaking, in a fish world, right?
I think they are. They're as a fish, they're very intelligent.
Yeah.
They're very, and that's the other thing. Observing that, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part about what you're doing is you're seeing all of this. When you're tuna fishing, you cast a great bait and you get a bite, and it's all, but you don't get to see any of it. Maybe you see a splash on a popper, but you see this fish come in, you see their dynamic around the boat, you see the dynamic change when all of a sudden there's a new food source, what they're going to do. It just, everything about it you're getting to watch.
It's amazing.
It's
amazing. And it's like you said, you watch how they assess, how they look, how they attack a bait, how they come up to the boat, and they're methodically thinking. When I'm standing on my cooler in the back observing, they'll roll up and look at you, and then they'll make a circle, and then they'll disappear for a minute, then they'll come back. You're engaged with that fish the entire time. Not only me as a guide, but the angler watching this happen right in front of him or her. It's like, whoa, that is crazy. And you're being sized up. Like I said, you're being hunted down. This is the only thing in fishing where you're getting hunted.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had an experience like that when I went on the Searcher sport fishing trip to Guadalupe Island for great white shark cage diving. Several years ago, I was invited to go on that trip. Unbelievable experience. And when you're in that cage with the great white sharks, they're watching you. And that they're just like something special about the intelligence of that creature. It's like, if you were just on the other side of that bar right there, man.
Right.
But they're just they're kind of a next level creature in the ocean for sure.
They are. Yeah. But it's funny. I think a Mako, in fact, I know a Mako is much more aggressive. They're wired differently. They're sort of like,
Because you've seen it. You've seen the aggressive
I've seen
Mako
I've
versus
seen,
a great white.
I've seen Makos chase him out of the slick.
Wow.
And it's because I think the Mako feels like he has been slighted in his life. He doesn't get any respect. He's like, oh, this great white's getting all the protection from the National Marine Fisheries, and I don't get anything. Well, guess what? And it's like they take it out on you.
Wow.
It's really funny. And they're a way more aggressive shark. And some people might argue with me, but come on my boat.
Well,
and watch it.
I've seen it in the cage there. They're just, I mean, when there's a dead tuna thrown in their face, they get pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
But even then, not voracious like you've seen videos of sharks attacking things.
Right.
They're still just kind of, I'll take a chunk out of that.
It's just,
They're very methodical.
Yes.
The thing about a Mako is like I said, they're wired differently. They're you know what they're like? They're like a cat.
Yeah.
So, cats can be sitting on the couch, you can be petting them, and they just, and all of a sudden they swat at you because you did something that ticked them off. That's how they are. Like they can come in, oh, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, boom, now the light switch went on to go after you.
Yeah, it's go time.
Great whites, I don't think
they're more like an elephant of the sea.
That's right. They're like
they could kill you easily.
Yeah, they're
like
where the Mako is the cheetah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's rad.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's it, man. Hey, I had a great text come through. Good morning, guys. Sounds like another great organization to contribute to, and it's all about the kids. Also, Alesmith, what a great spot and a great spot for the fundraiser. Great food, great beers. Close to Coldwater Spirits and to my oldest daughter. I'm going to have to be making a stop. I just wanted to say a special thanks for everything you do for the kids. And that's from Jeff in Huntington.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's cool.
Appreciate it, man.
That's
really appreciate
cool.
it.
Well, hey, let's jump in the phones, Rick.
Got it. How about this time?
We have, just so for the people watching our YouTube or Facebook, is we have our screen over here that JP is actually screening your calls for us, and then he puts up on another screen over here. So that's why we look over here at the calls.
You got it. A little inside baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike and Torrance, you're up next on the phones here. Mike, good morning. Thanks for getting us rolling here.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show. I want to thank you for all you're doing for kids. That's way to go, Conway. And that Friends of Rollo is the pinnacle. We should all put some money into that.
Yeah.
I want to give a report from the Condor last weekend. We went out to the Cortez Bank and anchored up about 4 a.m. and the fish bit till 6 p.m. when we had to pull the anchor and leave. But the big yellowtail on the bottom was spectacular. And Captain Joel's got a great organization going over there. He's doing a great job. So I just wanted to thank him and say good on you for taking care of the kids. Thank you.
Thanks. Right. Thanks. That's great. Yeah, that fishing out at the bank has been pretty sensational.
Oh my God. So it's been fun and a much, I don't want to say much needed break, but a very cool, different break to the season. So much of our fishing had been nighttime, deep dropping, knife jig, all that kind of stuff. And then seeing this with the influx of yellowtail, daytime fly line fishing, kite bites.
Yeah.
Times where you could fly line a sardine and catch a bluefin on the surface or drop a yo-yo jig down to the bottom and hang a big yellow on the same anchor job. Hearing things like Mike's report where they're catching bluefin and yellowtail not moving.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Pretty special stuff. All right.
Well, hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We're going to talk to our buddy, Captain Conway Bowman, who has just came back from an amazing Let's Talk Hookup trip to Queen Charlotte Safaris. We're going to get a report from Corey and a whole lot more of your phones and texts. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
Gamakatsu is not just.
Sorry, dude. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go to Corey and break, or you were saying break and go to Corey.
I didn't see him there.
Once you try one, you'll always want more.
Sorry, Corey, we didn't see you there.
My bad, bro.
Including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic
Hey,
blades.
Pete,
so
sorry, I
they'll
had you
never
down.
rust. Pliers and boxes are
So
amazing.
those Harnells are
Gamakatsu,
fiberglass
much more
rods,
than
right?
just
All
the
fiberglass,
best hooks.
crazy
Get them at your
barrel.
local
See,
tackle shop
I'm
or at
looking for like a
gamakatsu.com.
10-foot jig stick like that. Who makes?
Hey,
those
it's
things?
time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And I got to tell you, the new Talicas have me excited. The
dude.
Talica 20A and 25A are here.
I don't want to sound like I wasn't excited for the 12 and 16. I certainly
They're
was. I
pretty
thought it was an
cool.
improvement. I thought it was a great reel. I love it. I love the changes. The difference, though, from old 12 and 16 to new was some for sure. The difference from old 25 and 20s to the new is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
The new 20, the new 25, they boast a lower low gear ratio, different handle configurations, different spool height, different drag system, extra bearing. I mean, like, it is a completely new reel that's still so perfectly reminiscent of the old. They nailed it.
Not to say that the 20, the Talica 20 that you have in your quiver right now isn't a bad reel. It's a great reel. It's just there's some slight improvements that Shimano make in that 20 and 25A that just make it the perfect reel even more perfect.
You said it best. I don't think you need to rush out and get rid of your old 20s and 25s. They work perfect.
Add them to your quiver.
But there is no doubt when it comes time to replace the new one, it's legit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not just a different paint job on the same old reel.
No,
they did a lot of really good internal improvements.
So check it out, the Shimano Talica A series at your local Shimano dealer.
It's the perfect time to cruise on in and purchase a brand new Yamaha.
If you want a really parabolic rod like that, there's a company called CUI.
I looked them up. God, are they in Texas?
Somewhere like that. I think they're in Idaho, maybe. It could be Texas.
Are they like a yellow fiberglass?
We have black, yellow, and orange.
Do you carry them?
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. We have 10 and 12 footers.
Oh, dude, I need a 10. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, because I've been looking around for those. Oh my god.
I mean, come on. Dude, you just got to come to the source, baby.
So I've gone back to, like, personally, all fiberglass fly rods, all those old like Fenwick Fairlights from the 70s. So when my dad passed, I clear out his office and I found all the rods he used when I was a kid, and they're in perfect condition. So I've gone back to that with old click and paw reels. There's no drag, and it is the funnest.
That's cool.
Yeah. But now I want to get like a 10-foot fiberglass.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come down and check.
Come down. Yeah.
There are moments that change our perception of what is and isn't possible. Cosmic shifts where the stars align with the earth to alter how we see the world.
You know what I mean? Like we always joke with it. Like it is, if you want to cast a Daddy 45 farther than the guy standing next to you, you buy one of these. It is not the real. It is not the rod that you buy to
fight a fish.
To fight it. To kick the butt of a 15-pound yellowtails. But if you want to cast a lure farther than the guy standing, I mean, it's just like it's like casting a fly rod. The butt cap loads up on your cast. You know. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning talking Mako. This has got me so fired up. Like I'm ready to book my spot with Conway right now.
Yeah, let's book a trip with Conway Bowman.
So cool,
yeah,
dude.
for sure. Conway Bowman on Instagram.
Yeah, Conway Bowman on Instagram. Yep.
And then also on your just ConwayBowman.com.
Yeah, ConwayBowman.com.
Yeah, and you can actually book online.
Yeah, sure.
You can book. Oh, you have
or just call me.
Booking?
Just
call you.
Yeah, my number.
Your number's on there.
Yeah. Call me. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, just call and book. See what's available.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, our good buddy and co-host Corey Sandin's on the line. Good morning, Corey.
What's up, Corey?
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, Rick.
Hey,
hi, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got back from a pretty sensational trip to Queen Charlotte Safaris, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, Pete. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, as you know.
Yes.
And often referred to as the Galapagos of British Columbia. It's just so beautiful. And as Conway mentioned earlier, it's kind of the journey and the experience. Getting there is sometimes the biggest part of the story that's untold. And when your journey to these islands, which are remote and offshore, is just so beautiful. And the Canadian people are everything I've heard about in my life. You know, the most warm, generous, accepting people. And just being on that island. And I measured it out, Pete. It's 150 miles of island. And it's really, I don't see any pressure on it at all.
No.
You know, for the two separate years I've been there, I don't see commercial fishing. I don't see, we saw 2 other boats other than our 6. I mean, it's ridiculous. The lingcod fishing, the salmon fishing, off the charts, right? But
how big was your biggest king?
So there were several boats, Pete, that had 30-pound king salmon.
Whoa.
Wow.
There were several boats, and I saw the pictures to verify it. 45-pound lingcod.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, they're holding the lingcod from arm to arm for the picture, and there's a 5-gallon bucket in between their arms.
Jeez. Wow.
Like, literally, no joke. The biggest we had on our boat was 30 pounds. The biggest salmon was in the high 20s. And
that's pretty good. And
it's amazing.
And how were you catching the lingcods?
Well, fishing the slug, my friend.
Yeah, of course. How big a head?
The funnest way to do it, anywhere from 12 to 16 ounce. 12 ounces just fine. I've got to do something, man. Like, my mind was spinning, like within my calico world, my little narrow channel. And yes, absolutely.
So are you going to be pouring something special for Queen Charlotte? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? I'm going to pour something special for those that join the group I'm on next year.
Hey. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I have to.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's and we do have 2 trips booked next year. The first one, actually, Corey did the second trip this year. He's actually going to lead us off next year. The first group is give us a date, Corey.
So I'll be there from the end of July, July 28th through August 3rd.
Right.
And then you and Harold are following up right there from August 3rd through the 7th.
Correct.
Valerie has everything figured out. She has her finger on everything that goes on. When she takes us to the airport, she's literally checking each individual in with their fish and just making sure. Not only is this the most beautiful place on the planet, Pete, the Canadian fisheries allows us to bring home just so much bounty and harvest. It is out of this world.
Yeah, way higher limits. Like you can take lingcod, which you can in Alaska. You can take more salmon. Halibut limits are a little less, but halibut's not really the big. I mean, you caught halibut, right? You caught plenty of halibut.
Everybody had a couple halibut. Pete, the salmon, you mentioned the salmon, we're allowed this year, and everything changes, and they change it from month to month, week to week. We were allowed to keep 4 king salmon per individual per trip, on top of the silvers. And there was a boat that actually had 4 different salmon species in one outing. They had a pink chum, the silver, and the king.
Wow.
The lean cod limits, we were allowed 3 per day. They changed, just keep that in mind. But 3 per day, 6 for the trip, no size limit, Rick.
No size limit.
Unbelievable.
Big giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's so much fun. And you're fishing. The crazy thing is you're fishing in like a couple hundred feet of water, right?
We fished the majority 150 to 250 feet of water, which is relatively shallow from what I hear from, north of there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The big thing to mention, Pete, it's all inclusive. There's no extra cost. The only extra cost, I'll lay it out for you. The only extra cost is if you want to enjoy an adult beverage in the evening, which she does include wine with dinner. Like you can have a couple glasses of wine like I do and then just enjoy. And getting to hang with the listeners, Pete, for 4 or 5 days, it's so relaxing and so chill. We're watching deer as we're eating dinner right out the windows.
And eagles soaring, right? Like bald eagles, like eating like right in the trees right out in front. It's a beautiful place. Queen Charlotte Safaris. QCSafaris.com. You want to join us next year, or if you can't join our dates, just go, because this place is unbelievable. And I know, Corey, I don't know about you, but I can't wait. Go.
I'm telling you, I'm already planning next year. We've eaten some lingcod and salmon already, and I know you didn't make your trip, Pete. I'm going to smoke you some salmon and try to get it done for you. So let me explain, Pete, the real reason that I called in is there were so many people that rebooked for next year. Your trip, my trip. There's only a handful of spots left for next year.
Yes.
You need to give Valerie a call. And she has a couple different telephone numbers. They all go to her cell number. I'm going to give you her booking number. It's 877-815-2892. Or you can go to the Let's Talk Hookup website and link her off of there.
Great. Corey Sandin, our co-host here, and of course, MC's swim bait extraordinaire. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. Thanks, Corey. Glad you had such a great trip. And thanks for joining us this morning. We'll look forward to having you in the studio here and being on camera here with us on Facebook and YouTube Live.
Oh, I can't wait, Pete.
All right. Thanks.
See you, Corey. Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue on with the Catch Report. We got Captain Brian Woolley from Dana War Sport Fishing standing by, and a whole lot more of your phone calls and texts. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
24 years ago, I visited this amazing place
that?
called Hawaii, Archipelago.
we
I
got
just
Frank.
could not get
Looks like
enough
Frank
of these
just jumped
amazing
on.
islands.
I didn't
Natural
see before we
beauty,
broke.
friendly people, and phenomenal fishing. I knew
Cool.
I had to spend more time there. Moving forward to today,
No
here
doubt.
I am, a
No
fishing
doubt.
lodge owner. Hi, this is Valerie Hilbridge from Queen Charlotte
Yeah,
Safari.
I'll come down and
beautiful Hawaii Island.
what days are you there?
Every day,
boutique
but
lodge
Tuesdays
just steps from
and
the
Saturdays.
Sunset
Okay, I'll
Harbor,
come
offering
down,
a truly
next week.
unique
Cool.
fishing adventure. Our fishing is world class. You will fish for king salmon, halibut,
CUI
lingcod,
is pretty
and
cool.
much more. Our fishing
and
grounds
really
are
unique. They
untouched,
only come in
unspoiled, and
blanks.
surrounded by stunning
So
scenery.
we
are
wrap
dedicated
up.
to making
We try to wrap
your
up several
adventure
to keep
an
on the wrap.
experience that will be a lifetime of
Service
memories.
iron wise, obviously
We
it's
will
a different
welcome you
thing.
as
I
friends,
would say
and
that
you will leave as part of the
it's a little
Queen
bit
Charlotte
split
Safari's
between the
family.
10-foot blank
You will
and
come
the
to the
12-foot
fishing,
blank.
and you'll come back for the memories.
Guys
We are
that
booking
buy
now.
the
Please
12
give me a
footers
call at
still usually fish them in a 10-foot
1-877-815-2812,
configuration.
or check us out on
I would say
Instagram,
for what we
Facebook,
do,
or
Caddy
website
40, I'm thinking for you probably just buying the 10-footer and being done is probably the right one. It's just a little bit softer. But we'll pull on both.
Okay, got it.
Fully stocked tackle shop. For us, it's the 12-foot blank, and then bringing the tip down to either 12 or a 14 size tip. Some guys will bring it as big as a 16, depending on smaller jigs, bigger jigs, that kind of stuff. And then usually we'll cut from the butt end to make it even 10 foot. That's the most common configuration. Other guys bring that tip size down and then leave it, and then just leave it a whole length, and that makes it 10 and a half, 10 and 3/4, or the 10-footer.
For example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite
but anyways, they're cool.
Okay, let's check it out because I really want to.
Ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional
I mean,
performance,
I've got
durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and
But I want
blinds
something
is the one
super
for you.
freaking
Their
soft.
master
This is it.
craftsmen
It's perfect. It'll help hold hooks into them.
Every rod
It's
they
super
make. So if you want
parabolic,
your fishing rod
big
truly
giant shock
state-of-the-art,
absorber.
I
You know, it's
always
funny.
recommend
And the blank balls are
CalStar
pretty
at
thin,
fine
so it's
tackle
not
stores
crazy heavy.
Okay, that's
I
good.
think it'd be really good.
Long-range vessel Royal Star.
I get
my partners
so
Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims.
I find
set
like the
bar
softer
for
rods.
long-range fishing experience.
I don't
Spring
get as
8-day,
beat up
summer
fighting
5-day,
fish
or
with
fly
those
on
for
fly
some
back
reason.
11-day
I don't
round
like
trip. We deliver the
this
highest
faster
quality
action.
long-range
I don't
voyage you
know.
will
It just
find.
seems like
From our
I guess
premium
because they're
RSW
working
fish storage
both ways.
to our top-of-the-line
You
chefs
said it
and
best.
crew,
I mean,
Royal
like,
Star distinguishes
with
itself
a
from
real
others.
fast
You're
rod
on
like that,
spot
you
on
could
the Royal
lay the
Star?
thing on the
Check
rail,
us
or you
out
could
at
lock up in a harness and you can put a ton of pressure on something. But the pressure goes both ways, you know what I mean? Or you can have that parabolic rod that's super soft and easy to hang on to. And just,
area he called the Great Fish Trap.
fish aren't dumb either. They go to the path of a little less resistance, man. It's just,
Exactly.
kind of do this
Yeah.
a couple directions, and it's just easier to come this way. And like,
Love it.
yeah.
Following in their father's footsteps, Bob's
Cool.
sons,
It'd be
Bobby,
fun.
Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas
Might have
de
to set me
Cortez
up
and
with a
Playa del
whole
Sol
rig
to
reel
new
or
levels
anything.
with
Gotcha.
the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico. A
Going back to
luxurious
old
spa
school
and
fiberglass
top-of-the-line
all the way,
resort
baby.
amenities.
Really?
Ben Warmer
Much
Resorts
better for
have
pulling
become
on
a
'em.
destination for
Yeah.
travelers
This is
worldwide.
cool.
But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are
CalStar's got a
just
really
short
cool
2-hour
line of
flight
blanks
away.
that they
No other tropical fishing
kind of like the
destination
very end
offers
of
the experience and value that
Leon's
you'll find
time
at
and John
Palmas de
taking
Cortez
over,
Playa
and
del Sol.
it was just
Now
like that
you can
whole
plan your Baja fishing
COVID time caught them and they got
vacation
busy and they haven't
quick
been able to
and easy by
expand
visiting
on it since they introduced it.
and
It's a
when
line
you're
of
ready
blank
to
called
book,
the
it's
GG
quick and
series.
easy. Or simply
And
call
they're
877-772
graphite
for more
blanks
information.
that have
Ben
a
Warmer Resorts,
much
the
higher
East Coast's
percentage of
finest.
glass than the graphiters do.
And now
Like
it's
on the
time
man
for
roll,
more
the
of
first
Southern
layer is all
California's
done in
sports fishing
graphite,
voice.
but then it's
Let's
all
talk
wrapped over the
hookup.
top with
This
glass,
portion
so
of the show is
the rod has
sponsored
a
in
much
part by
more
Ford, the
spongy
official
traditional
truck of Let's
fiberglass
Talk
bend
Hookup.
to it, but the core is
Shimano
graphite,
rods
so
and
it's
reels.
lighter,
Fish
has a little
with
better
the
lifting
All right, here we go.
power.
Shimano.
I just fear that for your scenario though, they didn't expand the line out enough to have one that's probably soft enough to load up and fly, but very cool
Another
blanks,
great
like
hour of
different,
Southern
you know.
California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock God Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app. 1098 YouTube Live, Facebook Live. What else? We got it all going
Find
here
us,
on
baby.
Let's
Yeah,
Talk
we're on.
Hookup. Man, we're live here from the headquarters right here next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma. Conway Bowman is here, fly fisherman extraordinaire from ConwayBowman.com.
ConwayBowman.com.
Yeah, that's just
Pretty
it's
simple.
very simple. He goes fishing for giant Mako sharks or any kind of Mako
Any
shark.
kind of Mako.
And
They're just
it's just
giant,
all about
yeah.
Makos.
Yeah.
You ever get blue sharks coming in there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Makos eat them, so that's
They eat
good.
them, so they don't come around
No.
too much.
The coolest,
Like I said, it's a tough neighborhood.
yeah,
and,
I can imagine when the Makos are hanging out.
oh, they love eating blue sharks.
Yeah.
the coolest part about it is seeing a Mako or seeing a blue shark there, because it makes you appreciate how cool that Mako is in the water. Blue shark is just such a Humpty Dumpty, coming in, and then all of a sudden, like I said, it's just like seeing a fighter jet when that Mako comes in.
Yeah,
that's so.
Yeah,
so cool.
and the blue sharks are my indicator that there's a Mako around. Because if you have a blue shark around, they're kind of lollygagging. All of a sudden, they just split. It's like, okay,
they're here.
Mako's here. Yeah,
yeah.
So they're a good
That's
indicator.
pretty cool. Yeah,
indicator species, I call them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take to chum them
in? Usually 2 hours. It just depends. I mean, I've had them right on the boat like that. But this is big game hunting. That's the other thing.
Right.
We're hunting. It's like you're grizzly bear hunting with a recurve bow on Kodiak Island, waiting for that opportunity to come right in front of you.
Yeah.
So there's waiting, there's anticipation, sometimes it takes quite a while.
Preparation.
Yeah, preparation. But I call it's hours of boredom with moments of sheer terror.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Hey, time to tell them what's going on, and the catch report too. Brian Willie's been standing by.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to have a great time. And yeah, it's been a great show already this morning. Another full hour coming your way. Phone lines are absolutely packed solid. If you want to get your chance to get through in the second hour, 213-432-1090 is how you do it. Or keep those texts rolling in. We have so many great texts standing by, and we're going to continue to do that. And again, texting only available on the Let's Talk Hookup app. Not only your chance to talk to Conway, talk some cast hope, here's some fly fishing info, also your opportunity to win a $300 gift certificate to Costa Sunglasses. What a cool opportunity we're going to have at the end of today's show.
Yeah, we have a couple great guys standing by for the catch report here.
You got it. And our catch report today is sponsored by Terrafin Sea Surface Temperature Charts. Focus your offshore fishing in the most productive areas by using Terrafin Sea Surface Temperature, chlorophyll, currents, and more. With Terrafin Mobile, you can access the charts from your phone or any mobile device. Check terrafin.com for more information. And we got the boss, Captain Frank Lepresti, is on the line right now. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Pete. How are you guys?
Hey, doing great, Frank. What's up?
How does fishing get any better than it is now, whether it's long range, Coronado Islands, or Cortez Bank? I mean, Jonathan Yamati's got 40-some wahoo on the boat. He's got pargo. He's got grouper. He's got tuna, 40 to 75 pounds, a few Dorado to go with it, plenty of yellowtail. How does it get any better?
Unbelievable. Wow. And that's down at the Rocks in the Ridge?
Yeah, that's the Rocks in the Ridge, and you know what's going on at Cortez. How nice is that to just put your anchor down, and in the dark catch yellowtail on the dropper loop on the wind, and then at daybreak catch a few on the surface iron, and then fly line for a bluefin.
How my God!
So the bluefin's daytime fishing.
Yeah, it is.
I love that kind of fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. In fact, Tanner yesterday had, I think, before he went home, 35 fish around 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
That's awesome. And Frank,
at night, but up by Tanner. But anyhow, awfully good fishing. Pete, the main reason why I called is on the Shogun, we have a 10-day trip that we have to cancel. So this is in October, starting October 11th. There are 2 3-dayers and a 4-dayer that are wide open. So if anybody's interested in getting on a trip in October, which looks like it's going to be great fishing, we have plenty of openings on the Shogun, and that's really what I called for. Okay.
2 3-day trips and a 4-day trip in October are available now on the Shogun. How often does that happen? Not very often, right?
Right, and the 4-dayer is sponsored by Seekers, so probably some goodies to go with that one.
Frank, there was one other thing that I wanted to go back. You talked about the light switch being on and all that great tuna fishing. There's something else that I know that you are really into doing also, and that is, and it's just kind of happening under the radar, is how good the local calico bass fishing has been on the dolphin afternoon half days. There has been some ridiculously good. The switch is on. I mean, it's biting everywhere. The half day boats have been coming in with 100 bass, way more released, shots at white sea bass every day, stories of guys, pulling on a black sea bass and getting busted off, yellow. I mean, it's been they're under the radar, has been some of the best half day fishing we've seen at the landing all year long.
I'm glad you brought it up, Rick, because it has been phenomenal. And I mean, several days he's had 5 yellowtail. 1 or 2 white sea bass. I talked to Jason the other day. He said the ones they're catching are are legal, but he says they're busting off some of the big ones. The rent rodders usually hook those big white sea bass, and they've lost several of those, and I'm sure a couple of those were probably blacks, but awfully good fishing, whether it's morning or afternoon. Okay?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Fun fishing.
Well, Frank, thanks for giving us an update. Appreciate it. Great to hear from you, and we'll look forward to seeing you real soon.
Thank you for having me on, Pete and Rick. See you guys later.
Thanks,
Take
Frank.
care. Thanks.
Very good.
All right, well, let's continue with our catchboard. Head on up to Dana War Sport Fishing. We got the man, Captain Brian Woolley's on the line. What up, Woolley?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good stuff in there, man.
Sorry to leave you waiting there.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff to talk about.
Thanks for hanging, Woolley.
Hey, no biggie. Yeah, no worries. It's funny. Corey's talking about that trip he had up there. One of the guys that charters our boat regularly was on that same trip with Corey, Ken Kunkel, and he came back and was oozing how awesome that trip was, showing me pictures of his link cod and stuff like that.
God, that's rad.
It was cool to see. Saw the proof, man. That stuff was legit fish for sure.
It is a legit
in
place.
In our neck of the woods here, water temps certainly in a good little range. 71 to 73 is what we saw consistently through the week here. And with that, the bass warmed up and have been pretty hungry. So the hard bottom zones, both above and below our harbor, have been showing some good signs. Some sand bass opportunities for the guys fishing the dropper loops near the bottom. Some more nice halibut in the mix for those guys too, with those baits at or near the bottom. The kelp spots, the calico bass fishing is good too, with plenty of action on the fly line live baits as well as the artificial stuff. As I kind of talked about last week, this is a perfect time to get the kids out and catch a fish. I know school here for the local kids in our neck of the woods is going back in here this next week. So you still have a day or two to get out here if you want to jump in on some of this good bass fishing that we've been having here. Over, offshore, Frank touched on this yellowtail and bluefin fishing out there on the banks. Just solid fishing out there on the anchor. Great shots at that bluefin. Excellent quality on that yellowtail for Marcus there in the Fury. And then that one-day overnight stuff at Clemente when the current's right, that yellowtail is still biting over there. Good bass fishing. It's just been really good across the board. And then over at Catalina, we've got a few trips over there ourselves this week. Solid bass, bonito, and barracuda action, and some shots at some yellowtail over there as well. So things have been great. Things have been clicking here. Just can't complain about anything. It's just now is the time to go. So if you guys want to hop on a trip here, you still need to make that reservation. Give our office a call here, 949-496-5794. Of course, you can hit us on the web too, danawharf.com.
Awesome report, man. Like you said,
super good.
Switch is on, man.
Yeah.
When it's on, it's on. And boy, it's sure on out of Dana Wharf. A great report, Woolley. Sure appreciate that. Glad to hear you guys are firing on all cylinders, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, guys. Good stuff this morning. We'll catch you later. Have a good week.
Thanks, Woolley.
Appreciate that very much. All right. Hey, I guess Gundy's MIA, so that wraps up our catch report for today.
Well, you know what it is, man. The summer is here and in full swing. Check out surffishtackle.com for all of the newest in surf fishing gear, and fishthesurf.com. That's the website you go to if you want to be a better angler from the beach.
Valerie Hoperich from Queen Charlie's Fires is listening. Hi,
hey,
Valerie.
All right.
How you
What's
doing,
up, Valerie?
And she said that Corey's trip is July 30th through August 3rd, and then Harold and my trip August 3rd through the 7th. Still a few spots left on both of those trips for next summer. So you want to go with us, call Valerie right away because they go quickly. QCsafaris.com for more information.
Just hearing Corey talk about that was just, that's it. And sign me up.
Oh,
that sounded so cool.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
Place.
When you think
really
about all the cool fishing Corey has seen and all the fishing he's done with those MC swim baits, and to just hear him talk about that lingcod fishing and everything that goes along with it is pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, hey, let's you have a great text.
I did. Yeah, I thought it was a perfect one to jump us right back in here. It says, hi guys, so interesting to hear about Conway's latest venture to start the next generation of fishers off on the right foot for a lifetime of great experiences. My hat is definitely off to him and his team for such a worthwhile endeavor. Although I've done the Mako fly fishing with Conway a few times, I'd like to know if you do any other guided blue water fly fishing trips, tuna or other blue water species, etc. That's from Norm in San Diego.
Norm. Well, thanks, Norm. I am very focused on Makos. That's what I know best. And I don't. I love to fish other things, but I don't like the pressure of taking people out and targeting tuna and blue water species. However, I do have a guide I work with, Captain Greg Stutzer, who's very, very good at that.
Yeah.
He's excellent. And that's who I would have anybody interested.
Is he out of Dana Landing also?
Yeah, he runs my boat.
Oh, he runs your boat.
He runs my boat, and he has been, he captained the Kia Kai for many years.
Oh yeah.
And he came back to San Diego several years ago, and he and I worked together. But he takes all those blue water trips and all that other stuff.
Does he book through you?
He books through me.
Just ConwayBowman.com.
Just ConwayBowman.com.
Call Conway and just say, hey, I don't want to catch a Mako, but I want to catch a tuna.
Right. And so, in my position on that is, I could take you out there, but that's not my specialty.
That's not your specialty.
I just can't.
Your
but
deal is the Mako.
My deal is a Mako. I love hunting these things, and that's what I do.
Yeah, and you're darn good at it too. I mean, people come from all over the world to go fishing with you.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What other fish can you fish that is an apex predator that you're getting to watch the take, sight cast, that is also in the potential in the multi-hundred pound? I mean, it is a single unique fishery.
It is. Yeah. It really is, because big game fly fishing. Typically, you have to fly halfway around the world to get more. To get a striped marlin, to get a blue marlin, to get a sailfish. I mean, you're traveling a long way away to do that. Whereas this fishery is unique in that these fish are relatively close. It's a short run many times. We can target them in a smaller skiff, so you're engaged with that fish. And you're fly fishing for the biggest fish you'll ever catch on a fly. And that thing jumps 20 feet in the air.
Wow. What's the season?
And I want to throw one more thing too. And you're doing it from a drifting boat.
A drifting boat.
I mean, most of those shots at big game fish, you're trolling.
That's right.
Teaser.
Yeah.
You're dropping something in the whitewash. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't. It's just a quick flash. You see everything.
And I had this conversation with a guy yesterday. Once that Mako's on the boat, they don't leave. They don't spook. So if you're tarpon fishing, if you're bill fishing, hey, those fish will come in, they get freaked out, they're gone. And now you're trolling around for the next, 8 to 10 hours for that next opportunity. This opportunity stays at the boat. Wow. So you get a shot after shot after shot. Now, that doesn't mean you're gonna hook every one of them, but at least you have the opportunity more than one shot to get them. Right. So the setup is perfect.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And the season.
So mid-April all the way through the end of October.
Wow.
So it's a relatively long season.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really
and
very.
Is it weather dependent? I mean, you're not going to go out there and go out when it's bumpy or windy.
Well, if it's small craft, no. But honestly, that early season, April, May, June, we sort of have
wind. Yeah.
But honestly, that's really great because it helps me out cover a lot more water in terms of my drifting. So you want current. You want to be able to cover as much water as possible.
Yeah.
But honestly, those kind of nasty conditions are actually pretty good. Just like any big game fish, right? Marlin, they kind of like that.
They like that
more
chop.
That chop is a layer of protection for them, so they become more aggressive.
Yeah. You had a pretty special guy on the boat yesterday.
Nick Curcione.
Nick Curcione.
Wow, that's cool.
And you said he's 80 now?
81.
81.
He's the
still
guy,
a stud.
Still a stud. Still a great stick. He's the guy who got me into this, and I owe so much to him. And it's always great to get him out on the boat. Not only the stories, but the knowledge that he imparts on me. It's unreal. So to have him tie into a 300-pound Mako shark like we did yesterday was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's the greatest. So it's sort of like I get to take my Muhammad Ali, the guy who I idolize, and I get to sit on the boat with him and watch him cast to this wonderful fish that he targeted back in the 70s.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's an amazing guy.
So fun.
Good to know he's still rolling.
Oh yeah. And still he's
still cracking you up.
He's like a bumblebee in a honey jar, man. He just flies. He's got so much energy. It's
Gotta
great.
love it.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, with that, we're going to find out what's going on the water. It is time for our fishdope.com report. And we want to say a big, huge thanks to a great partner, and that's Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. This is the place to fill up your car, your truck, your boat with the lowest gas and diesel prices. Did you know that Summit is also the place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? 25 cents for your first 5-pound bag of ice, or $3.99 for 25 pounds. And that's as many as you want. That's half the price of the others. Plus, you get 100 pounds of ice for free with a 35-gallon fill. They have Kirkland products lower than the prices of the store that makes them. Dozens of great snacks for just 89 cents. So much more at Summit Gasoline. free ice for Let's Talk Hookup listeners, and always the lowest prices at the San Diego Sports Arena. And wow, what a guest.
Whoa, are you
what a
kidding
guest
me?
treat that we have today. Speaking of fishdope.com, we got the man that pours his blood, sweat, and tears into it. And that's Danny from Fish Dope giving us the report today in place of our normal anglers realtor, Yusef. What's up, Danny? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I hope I can do this all right. Yeah.
Well, this is what you do every day, Danny, is tell people where to go fishing, right?
Let me give you a pointer. Just tell us where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I don't do it talking live on the radio.
Oh, buddy, you do a great job.
So, Brian and Frank covered a bunch of stuff already, so maybe I'll just cover what they didn't. There's halibut and squid and betchers up at Rosen, but if the wind's blowing, But it wasn't yesterday, in spite of that small craft advisory. It was glass, and at least one boat got in there and whacked them. It's good fishing. Santa Cruz Island, that barracuda bite slowed down, but it's still decent for those that want to target it. The boats pretty much are passing it up now. I'll skip over to San Clemente Island. There's one thing that Brian didn't talk about. There's squid at the dunes, and there's also sea bass on it that are biting before the sun comes up. Once the sun comes up, go somewhere else. The front side's been good for yellowtail, as long as there's current. Skip Dana Point. Willie had that. And, down Imperial Beach still got a bunch of sand bass in the mud. We haven't seen sand bass in the mud for years, and they've been biting really good there. Let's see. Let's skip offshore. Our spotter plane was up on Friday, and he found absolute tonnage of bluefin between the 7-11 and the snail. He said almost all of them were 200-pound class fish.
Wow.
He did not see it on his first pass over in the morning. When he came back through it in the afternoon, they were up all over the place. Yesterday, guys didn't catch in the morning, but they did late in the day. And it's no doubt it has to do with the moon phase. I wouldn't be even looking at this stuff until afternoon right now. And there's something else interesting there. There's a whole bunch of Rizzo dolphins in that area. Rizzos eat squid. They live on squid. They don't eat much of anything else. That means there's squid in the area, and that means these tuna are not going anywhere. So,
I love it, Danny. I love it. You did a great job, man. Nothing to be nervous about.
What are you talking about?
You're the guy with the best source of info in town, man.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job, and boy, some really, really good fishing to be had right now. It's great.
And $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, no space. You get all of Danny's information that he works 7/24 gathering at your fingertips. Fishdope.com is your source. And Danny, we sure appreciate you filling in for Yosef this week, and hopefully you'll come back real soon.
Yeah, that was great.
I'll be doing it next week too. Yusuf is having surgery.
Okay,
buddy.
All right. Well, good luck, Yosef, and for sure we'll talk to you next Sunday.
Yeah, right on, Danny. All right, that's going to wrap up our catch report. Again, sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get a premier processing experience. Check out the brand new and easier online system to book your processing orders for your long-range trips. Now with more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest customer service. Stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com and be sure to make your reservation today.
Hey, phones are packed up. They want to talk to Conway, so let's jump into it, Rick.
Vinny from Carlsbad is up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hey, Vinny.
What's Vinny?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, question for Conway. Can you kind of describe what like a typical day looks like? Is it just you and the angler, and what do you need to bring? Do you bring your lunch? Is it just sunscreen, a hat, sunglasses, and a smile? And what does a typical day look like at start to finish?
Great question.
So that is a great question. So I'm not really an early starter. So typically I leave the dock at 9 o'clock, Dana Landing, right there. And all you have to bring is a fishing license, get your lunch at that great deli at Dana Landing, and I've got everything else. I've got all the tackle. I don't expect people to have this sort of fly tackle. We fish 8 hours, so we're back at the dock about 5:30. So 9 to 5:30. Gentlemen. Well, and so it's great but I need the visibility. You need the high sun to see the fish. So it's kind of nice. So it's not.
So it's all sight fishing.
It's all sight fishing. Yeah.
Wow.
So you're not blind casting. We don't make a cast until we see a fish.
Wow.
So I will take you through casting, the fundamentals of casting, what I need you to do to set the hook, fight the fish, and then we wait. And sometimes you wait quite a while, but if you're patient, and that's one thing you need to bring is patience. Patience. If you're patient, you potentially could see the greatest fish of your life. So and that's it. And it's a great day, and it's not a lot of action sometimes. Yesterday we were out. We had a fish an hour, and we were out for 8 hours, and that's not too bad. That's a pretty darn good day of fishing. But we waited.
Yeah, sure.
So it's not like going out and catching barracuda, bonita, that kind of stuff. But this is big game hunting.
Big game.
Yeah, this is big game hunting. So if you're a hunter, and hunters understand this, you sit and wait for that opportunity to swim right by the boat, and then you have your shot.
Yeah.
Because once they're there, they don't leave.
Yeah. I remember the one time I went big game hunting. It was with Harold Davis for elk up in Utah, and we waited for 3 days and never got one.
Yeah.
So that happens, right?
That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you rarely. I mean, I do get blank days. I do.
It happens.
It happens. However, it's not often, but it does happen. And most people that book with me will book 3 days because they know the game.
Yeah.
They know that, okay, so you're going to have a day where the fish just disappear, the water changes, or you just can't find them. But you give me 2 extra days, we're probably going to find them.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you just heard Danny referring to the full moon. Does that affect the fishing?
I used to think that does. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it may. I tend to find fish are more aggressive around a new moon, and they're a little more lethargic around a full moon. But I don't know. All I know I don't get really hung up on that anymore. I just go out and fish. For me, it's more about current. It's about having the right amount of current and having the right amount of food item, in the area where I'm fishing, and that's it.
You spend so much time, like you said, drifting, watching, waiting. What are some of the things that you've seen outside of shark? I mean, I'm sure there's been spots of tuna or spots of whatever. Like, you spend enough time keyed in, staring at the water. Like, other things are bound to come by you over the years. What have been some of the highlights?
So yesterday we had 2 striped marlin.
Come on.
Yep. They jumped right in front of the boat. Yep.
Really?
It was unbelievable. And I saw it like off La Jolla on, I think it was last Sunday. I had a striped marlin up there too. Cool. So that happens this time of year quite often. Blue whales. I mean, they've come up so close to my boat. The finbacks. I mean, obviously porpoise. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you see out there. So it's, and that's a great thing. Back to Cast Hope. So we take our kids out. We do shark observation trips. So we're not even fishing. We're bringing those sharks to the boat, and they get to engage with that fish right there. And they get to see it. They don't get to see it on Shark Week through a TV. They get to be on the boat, and that's the real Shark Week. But in addition to that, they're seeing whales. They're seeing porpoise. They're seeing how the relationship, how to identify birds, and then those birds lead to something else, and those birds can lead to that whale, and then that, So we're connecting all the dots in nature for these kids. So it's a cool experience.
That's awesome. It's really cool. Hey, I just want to do a shout out to Jim in Huntington Beach. He's giving me some input on the audio on our YouTube and Facebook. He says we're way overmodulated. So working on it, Jim, and keep those comments coming because we're trying to figure this whole thing out.
Totally.
I'm not an expert, but I'm learning. Yeah, but it's kind of cool. We had several thousand people watching it yesterday. So
that's awesome. That's really cool.
It's pretty exciting to be able to kind of have a different source to do it, but we're just kind of taking baby steps here, figuring it all out. So I'm open for all input.
Well, this is good input from a gentleman who sent us a text. He said, "Good morning, guys. I absolutely love the new YouTube feed. This will be how I watch from here on out. I have some older Penn Jigmaster and 4.0s with Tiburon frames. My question is going back to yesterday. Would those be appropriate for Friends of Rollo donation? Absolutely. That is the perfect setup for a Friends of Rollo donation. You have probably replaced that with new Trinidads and new Toriums. Still great reel, still viable for somebody. Take those things in, bring them to Fisherman's Landing, bring them to Dana Landing, bring them to wherever is close to you, and get them dropped off for Friends of Rollo. They'll make a few bucks with them, and away you go.
All right. Pretty cool. Hey, this is a question. He says, Corey and Escondido, our good buddy. By the way, Corey's son-in-law, Cody, is the one that helped me get this set up on YouTube and Facebook. So thanks to Cody for that, and thanks to Corey for introducing me to his great son-in-law too. He says the Facebook and YouTube live channels are awesome game changers. Congratulations. Quick question for Conway. I live near Lake Hodges, but have not fished there yet. Can I get out on Hodges with my Hobie kayak? And any tips to get some fish there?
Yeah, you can launch.
You know
there.
every inch of that.
I know every inch of it. Yeah, you can get out, and it's Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. I think they're closed on the second or third Wednesday of each month. But yeah, you can launch a kayak there. This time of year, the fishing can be a little bit persnickety because the water's warm. But I will tell you, the fall bite there is going to be really great. Really, the water level elevation is low because they're having issues with the dam. They have to keep the elevation low, but fishing's still great. And I mean,
fish are more concentrated.
They haven't had a sort of a fish die off like they had historically. Like that lake would roll over and a lot of the oxygen levels would get depleted and they would have a die off. That hasn't happened since they put in this oxygenation station down by the dam. So great volume of bait in there. One tip about Hodges, it's a low light fishing lake. So early in the morning, late in the evening. Okay. And that is when you want to fish it.
Early in the morning. And can you launch kayak there?
You can launch kayak there, yes.
Yeah.
Go do it. Typically, the fall bite there is very, very good. And one of my favorite spots is along that shoreline, the north shoreline that goes down past Hernandez Hideaway all the way to the dam.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. And yeah, it's still very good. And even the Narrows over by the boat dock in the Narrows there can be great. But remember, low light, early morning, late evening. I prefer late evening. So yeah,
there you go.
Still a great lake.
Well, that's some tips
Some
for you.
Insider tips. Yeah,
No
there's
doubt.
some big fish in that lake.
Very large bass. Yes.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
The fish are biting and it's time to go. Hi, this is Beth, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, or maybe in front of the shop on my
It's just
kayak.
good to see that
It doesn't
tradition
matter
off
if
the
you
dock
are
for those
out there
guys.
on a kayak with me, on
They
your
got
boat,
off on their
headed out
first
on a
trip
sport
last
boat.
week,
Dana
and,
Landing has
oh, that was
everything
the,
you need. We call it
that's
the
the
one-stop shop for a great day on the
Chuck
water.
Taft,
because
old
it
Mustang,
truly is.
Taft
Food,
bought it.
bait,
Those guys worked
tackle,
on it.
beverages,
Called the
and more.
Tradition.
Our tackle
Yeah.
shop, headed
Oh,
by
so he made
John,
it out.
is certainly one of the best.
He
For
started his first
freshwater
trip
tackle,
last
nothing
week
beats
and like
East
did a
County
one-day
bait and tackle.
trip.
These
that had
guys
like
have the best rods and
60
reels
tuna
and
and
the
a bunch of
hottest
them. They
lures and live
crushed
bait.
it.
Our
You know,
newest shop
he
is
stayed a little
Lemongrass
late, went a
Bait
little
and
far to
Tackle
do it
with
on an
a
overnight
great
trip,
stock of
almost to
both
kind of
fresh
but
and
yeah, like he
saltwater
started off to a
tackle
bang.
right in the
Like
heart
what a
of Lemon Grove.
what a
ECBT
difference,
is at
you know,
the
that
end
Mustang
of the
like never got off the dock. He
67
got that
freeway
boat.
on
They worked
Mapleview and
12-hour
Lakeside.
days
Lemon
for
Grove
a
Bait
month,
and
couple of
Tackle,
months straight.
94
They did a nice
Broadway
job. The
in
boat
Lemon
looks
Grove.
good. I
And
went down and
Dana
checked it out.
Landing is
Like
next to
and
the Dana Launch
running every
Ramp in
night.
Mission
That guy's
Bay. Check
amazing.
out
He is
Works hard.
DanaLanding.com
yeah,
for more
very, very hard
details.
worker.
Hey, this is Rosie with
Knocked
Cedros
all of his
Sport
teeth out
Fishing.
working
We have
on the
always been the leader with all-inclusive fishing trips
That's
to
pulling
Cedros
on some
Island.
big
We now
wrench
have
and like
2
it let
lodges to
loose.
choose from
Oh,
and both sit on the
shoot, really?
cliffs
Oh,
relaxing
dude,
ocean
could you
views and
imagine?
gorgeous morning sunrises.
And
With
just
direct flights departing for the
when we
CBX
went back
in
to
San
work, like,
Diego, we are committed to
get it
providing
dealt with in a few
first-class
days.
service to
Like
our
just
guests
oh
and
my
an unforgettable
god, dude.
fishing experience. Come check
It's a
out the
badass,
Shell
no
and Calico
doubt.
Bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at cedrosportfishing.com. Book soon. Trips are going fast.
For quality, the Islander out at Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, stay super clean and well taken care of both.
Amakua, is that the Hawaiian word for
Islander is so popular. With the Islander
good luck
specializes
for
in
taking
1.5
care of the
to
sharks or
5
bad
day
luck
fishing.
for
Experience the
I
Islander's
always forget that my wife would be
Visit
so pumped with me, like, she's so
islandersport.fishing.com.
anti
Everyone
Shark
has their
Tank.
go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in
and I
Sitka,
forget the
Alaska.
proper
Rock
use
Cod
of it.
Rick
I
can
know-
say if you're
I
looking
think the
for
word is
ultimate
Amakua, but I just
Alaska
don't remember if that
experience
means you
and
have
the
bad
best
luck for
value
taking
in
them,
Alaska,
or you
it's
have good luck for
Kingfisher
taking
Charters.
care of
Owner
them.
Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the
bad
finest
juju to
food,
kill a shark.
world-class
Yeah,
fish
it is.
processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they
I'm gonna
all
start
can't wait to go
tagging them.
back.
I'm trying to
Most
get some
Alaska
funds to
resorts
tag
make
those
big
adult Makos
promises, and they
to
don't
see where they
deliver.
go.
With a
So
limited and
trying to,
dime you
because
to drive up
Greg's
the
a marine
cost, but not
biologist. And
Kingfisher.
because he worked
Everything
with,
is included.
with
Your
Hubs for
license,
years
fish
on the rice and
processing,
gas program, so
super
he
deluxe
understands
accommodation, amazing
So,
food, airport transfers, your
we have so
gear.
many big
Literally,
females
all
around
you
now,
need
we
to
could
bring is your
tag
layer
a-
clothing, and Kingfisher
bunch.
covers
And
the
my
rest.
boat's
They
perfect,
also
it's
have the
loaded with
finest
water.
boats and charter
And then
captains
I
in
just want to see where they
Sitka,
go.
all for the
There's no
ultimate value.
data on
Take
that
it from me. Book
Yeah.
your trip to Kingfisher
And they have all the
Charters, and
great
you'll
white
thank me.
data.
Kingfisher Charters. 800 727
satellite pop-off style.
6136
Yes,
or check
exactly.
All right, here we go.
kingfishercharters.com.
I got a nice text from you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing with Conway. And, you know, Pete, at the beginning of the show, you'd mentioned how successful yesterday was for Rod. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup here. Pete, you know, you'd mentioned yesterday how successful Rod a Week had been, and Tim Baker was staying really busy.
Right.
Mike Lum sent me a really cool text this morning that I wanted to read, and it just said, hey, I wanted to share a story. We had a gentleman buy tickets this morning who said many years ago he took his son on a 5-day trip on the Royal Polaris when Brian and Rollo were both working on the deck. His son's very first tuna was a handoff from Rollo on a Harnell, likely Brian's rod that's being given away today, or giving away part of this promotion for the Rod a Week promotion from Friends of Rollo. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool story. And if you want to buy Rod a Week tickets, Tim Baker's standing by right now. Rod a Week is going on right now, and it's 951-264-7382, or you can email him at win@rollokids.org and get that out there. Also, I want to remind you, too, this week's edition of Western Outdoor News has the big Cabo Tuna Jackpot feature in there, and that's coming up really, really, really soon. And, of course, Western Outdoor News shows up some big fish that have been around.
That's awesome.
Some giant fish.
Is that a big
around.
bluefin? I can see the glare there. Oh, yeah,
for
nice
sure.
one.
Actually, that's a big yellowfin, I think, in
yellow.
Cabo.
Oh, yeah, look
isn't
at those
it?
big sickles. There you go.
Yeah, big one. So, and the other thing, too, on the back of Western Outdoor News, the Yamaha has introduced that new 350 six-cylinder inline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lightest 350 ever made. And certainly it's a 4.3 liter V6 offshore 350 that's now available from Yamaha. So check that out in Western Outdoor News. Valerie Hoperich is listening. Thank you, Valerie. And she has a question for Conway about salmon sharks and Mako sharks. And I'll bring it up here. It says, Chris's boat, which is one of her guides, landed a blue shark and a salmon shark. And I wonder if Conway has ever caught a salmon sharks. All the sharks were released, but the guests had a blast bringing them in.
I've never caught a salmon shark, and I saw one wash up on the beach probably 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So was that caught locally here?
No, up at Queen Charlotte's.
Oh,
Farms,
yeah. Okay.
way
So
up there, and they're a relative of the Mako shark.
They are
very,
so
very close.
They're in the salmon
relatives.
shark family. So it's salmon sharks, poor beagles, great whites, and Makos. They're all in the same family.
In the same family.
But I think Prince William Sound, that area is loaded with salmon sharks. But yeah, they're an amazing fish.
They look a lot like a Mako.
Yes, they do.
When you see them, it's like that's a Mako.
They're really cool.
It's a salmon shark.
Yeah,
but it's very close relative.
Very close relative.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal a question for myself. You had mentioned how Mako sharks have a pretty soft take on the fly.
Yes.
You have done a tremendous amount of fly fishing around the world. What's the coolest take outside of a Mako? I know that's where your passion lies, but got to strike that one off. What's the coolest take of fly fishing that you've got to do from all your exploits around the world?
The most aggressive is a giant trevally.
Okay.
Those things.
Giant trevally?
Yes, GTs. And they are violent. They come in and they'll actually they want to bite you. And so that take is violent. The initial run is lightning speed. The thing is, if you keep enough pressure on them, they give up. After a really long run, they kind of relax, and then you can get them in fairly quickly. But man, that initial take, and a lot of times it's right in front of your feet. It's right at the rod tip
when you're running out of room.
Oh yeah, and then it's like, and it's like somebody just throws a 10-gallon bucket right in front of you, and they just swipe around, and they immediately move away from you.
They're gone.
They're gone. They're the coolest. And
so
you're catching them in 3 feet of water, gin clear water, and they're right there.
Where his dorsal fin is, if he's standing up straight, he's dry.
They are. Yeah, they look like it's hard to explain. I remember I was walking the flats in Christmas Island, and I had some bonefish in front of me, and all of a sudden the bonefish split, and I looked down, and at my left heel there was a 100-pound GT following me. So he was using
you, yeah.
To get it was the and they have absolute no fear. They are the coolest fish. They're just killer. Yeah, I love them.
They're amazing creatures.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. That's why you have to release them.
They're the top dog on the flats. They
they're the top dog wherever they're at.
They're
You know what I
just-
mean? Like think about
they
the other
just
things
are.
like on reefs and things that are so shark infested or whatever. Like those things don't give no. They're the junkyard dog, man. Nobody's messing with that.
They are the pit bull.
Yeah,
and
totally.
they'll chase off a bull shark.
Yeah.
I mean, they are killer. I love them. They're
That's
great.
cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
You got it. How about this time we talked to Justin? He's calling us from Arcadia this morning. Justin, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. It's actually Lucadia, but I've fished with Conway and also done some filming with him. And I just wanted to, I've experienced the hours of wait and moments of terror in a very small boat. But Conway, why have you chosen that boat? And just tell us a little bit about the intimacy of it and why you keep going with that one.
So the boat it's a bay boat, so it fits. And thanks for reaching out, Justin. It sits very low to the water, and so large predators they don't want they feel threatened if something's like towering over them. So if you're fishing a large like a Mako shark in a boat with a big tower, they come in much deeper. My boat sits right on the water. And I really honestly think they think it's a food item. They think it's, you have chum coming off of it. It sits low to the water, it's not a threat to them. And even I've had center consoles with T-tops on them. Sometimes the fish come in deeper with that. My boat doesn't have a T-top. It's almost like a gigantic flats boat. And I had a sort of this reckoning. I was cleaning the bottom of the boat earlier this summer, and I'm cleaning, and I kind of kick out, and I'm looking at the starboard rail, and I'm looking. The perspective is in the water. My head's above the water, and I'm like, this is why a Mako shark thinks this is something to eat, because it looks like a swordfish. And it's not threatening. So I'm in the water with the shark's perspective looking up. I'm like, that's why. And when they approach the boat, they typically approach it from the stern.
From the stern.
Exactly. It is the craziest thing. So the smaller boat is not a threat, even to small Makos, and they charge that thing, and they want to attack it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think if you were in a bigger boat, there would be less?
Well, I've fished them out of larger boats, and the larger center consoles, or even the sort of more of a sport fisher
style.
They come in deep and they're a little more cautious.
Interesting.
When they come into my boat, oftentimes they are not cautious. They want to attack it. Yeah. And Justin, you've seen that many, many times, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. That's cool. 213-432-1090. JP standing by. Thanks, JP, for being there today. You're extraordinary. We
No doubt,
appreciate
buddy.
your help for sure. And I started reading this text, and I went, wait a minute, this guy knows something about fly fishing, obviously, because of this text. And then I read down, and it's my fishing buddy from Cascade, Montana, Chris Scott.
Hey.
And so nice to hear from you, Chris. And he says, regarding fly line management when Mako shark fishing, what are the common mistakes anglers make once the shark is hooked, and how can an angler prepare themselves to help prevent that from occurring?
Yeah,
I can imagine
you were right about that text.
When somebody and anybody that's fly fished before knows line management, whether you're catching a big trout in Montana or especially when you're catching a giant Mako shark, is a big deal.
It is. And if you have improper line management, that line can wrap around your leg, and now you have a very large game fish running away from the boat, right? So that fly line will wrap around your leg, and that's not good. But the thing is, a common mistake people make is they strip off way too much line off the reel. The cast we're making is 25 to 30 feet, and that's all you need out there. I'll get some anglers, they want to strip off 50 feet of line, which you don't need. So you want to have a short leash. You want to have just the right amount of line out with nothing on the deck, because when a Mako shark realizes it's hooked, it's moving away from the boat at 30 miles an hour.
And you're not stopping it.
And you're not stopping it. And you don't want that line flying up and wrapping around your leg, your hand, or even the butt of the rod. Okay. That's it. And so the other thing is setting the hook. And people don't quite realize that when you set the hook, you really have to set the hook.
Because they're pretty hard jaw.
Very. And even in that soft corner of their mouth, you have to drive that hook in. So a common mistake people make is they don't set it hard enough. They think they're hitting it as hard with maximum pressure because all they've ever caught is a trout or a salmon. No. You have to swing on them very hard. And
swing on them.
You swing. You strip strike to rod
Strip
tip,
it right.
rod tip at the fish, and then once you come tight, then you swing on them. and that drives that hook into the corner of the mouth. And once they feel that, then they're out of there. But a lot of times people just don't understand how powerful you have to be in setting that hook. So that's a common mistake.
And the types of, now normally a fly rod isn't a very good rod to set the hook, but the rods you use are powerful enough that they can drive that hook.
They are. So they have a softer tip, so you can cast, but then it tapers very quickly to a very stiff butt section.
So once you raise that rod and really swing on it,
exactly, you're driving that hook in.
It gets that hook in there.
What hooks are you tying your flies with?
So I'm using they're Gamakatsu, and anyway, they're the 10-aught, they're the finer gauge hooks. I don't know what they are. Great hook. They're really nice. But I experiment with mustache. I use all kinds of different hooks.
That Gamakatsu nice just because it's such a sharp,
super sharp
point, gets into them easy.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a, I'm like you said, you're fishing barbless. I was just going to say they've got a very appropriate size barb, not giant that it's difficult to get it into, but you're getting rid of that.
Yeah, I just pinched that down.
Cool.
But that's the thing. So people don't understand how to set the hook, and I get it. I mean, you're fly fishing. I mean, you're typically, you don't have to set the hook really hard.
And when you're new, you're enamored. This giant thing is coming in, and you're watching the whole show. Like this whole show that we've been talking about it, you're so fascinated seeing this fish come to boat, and then you watch the take. Like sometimes it's not easy to get back to remembering mechanics either.
Right. It's sort of like, walking through the forest and all of a sudden there's a grizzly bear right in front of you. It's like, oh boy.
There he is.
So if you've never experienced that, I can't expect you to actually be able to set the hook right off the bat, But the great thing is you're going to get more opportunities because the shark doesn't leave. They just hang around the boat. So
yeah,
that's cool.
For sure. You have a good one.
I thought so.
Rick?
Yeah. It says,
great question.
Conway, can you go over a little bit on, he says, I'm loving this, by the way. Can you go over what methods you use to bring the Makos to the boat? Also, have you ever had any encounters with thresher sharks up at your boat? Lastly, what are the water conditions that you prefer the most? That's all from Jim in San Diego.
Okay. So 95% of the time I'm chumming these fish to the boat. So I'm using, tuna, and I'm just putting it in I've got a bucket and I just chum. And that's basically it, finding the right area, the right edge, the right water temp, the right conditions, setting that chum slick and just waiting. And you wait. And, you need current, you need wind on it. Slick glass conditions are not great. Sharks are really cautious. You may see them finning, but they oftentimes won't come to the boat. Now, on those slick glass days, that's when you can go out and target them without chum. You can sight fish to them like tarpon. And that happens usually around a full moon in August and September, and it's a really cool way to do it.
That's cool.
But you can't bank on that all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was the other question?
If you ever had a thresher come up while you're sitting doing the Mako thing.
I have had threshers, and they're the coolest shark, but they're very shy. They come up and they look and then leave, and they're really
they would never take the fly.
No, well, they might. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't. They're such a passive shark. They're very graceful. They move through the water. Yeah, they're not aggressive. You could, but I have had them several times come through the slick. Yeah.
That's awesome. If you throw a mackerel out there, he'd probably eat it.
He probably would. Yeah.
But that's not your deal.
Yeah.
Hey, another shark question from Christian Rancho Santa Margarita. He says, so I used to see blue sharks quite often. I can attest to that. I don't see them much. Do you see them, and what happened to them? It's a good question.
That is a great question.
Yeah.
You're right. When I first started doing this, you saw a lot of blue sharks.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there were blue sharks everywhere.
I think it's just a change in the water temperatures. We see a lot of blue sharks in the early spring here. And
see a lot of little ones too.
Little ones. So I don't know. I just don't. Although I've seen more this year than I have in recent years. So maybe they're coming back. But it's cyclical. I think they move in and out. If the conditions are right, they're around. But I do remember years ago, you had tons and tons of blue sharks. Now we're not seeing as many. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question.
How much do the kids from Cast Hope freak out? And I mean that in the good way. I mean like the freak out on how cool this is when they see the shark type things you're talking about. I know that you guys do all types of things, but you were talking about the kids seeing the shark thing. Like that's just got to be the most exhilarating thing to have happen with the kids on board.
It's unbelievable because they're engaged with that shark right at the boat. And they can, if they wanted, they could go down and pet the shark, which we don't let them do, but to watch that shark swim around the boat and then watch it engage, like we'll demonstrate predatory behavior. So we have a teaser, like a mackerel stuffed inside of a marlin skirt. And we'll say, okay, so you see the shark now, and then they're kind of mellow. And then we'll say, we're going to turn on the predatory light switch. So we'll throw that mackerel out, and then the Mako will lock in on it. And then we'll start reeling it back to the boat. And then, they're like a jet fighter trying to attack that mackerel. So we go from 0 to 60, and we show them how they hunt, how they attack their prey, and the kids are just watching it right in front of the boat.
Wow.
And when you
how many kids do you have out on the boat when you do that?
We'll take 4 kids.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's me and Captain Greg
Wow.
Setzer, and it's really cool. And so Greg's great because he makes them. He talks about the biology of the shark. It talks about the caudal peduncle, why that's really important for speed and acceleration. Their eyes, why they're set forward.
Yeah.
So he takes them through the whole thing on why that is the ultimate predator. So kids get off that boat and they go watch Shark Week and they're like, wow, I
know all that.
I know that. And
Yeah.
I was actually on the boat and I saw that.
So let's talk again about Cast Hope as we're running a short on time here. So Cast Hope, how do you find the kids again?
So we work with some of the school districts around town. We're working with the military. We're working with law enforcement agencies. Any city organization that has youth programs that we can kind of tap into.
Yeah. So what about like somebody listening that's like says, well, I have some
I know the
military
perfect
kids I
person
know.
for this, like
yeah.
that
How
yeah.
can they call you and say, hey man, I got the perfect kid here for you?
Absolutely. So this show is a perfect.
So do they have to be kids that don't get opportunities like this? Is it kind of underprivileged kids or something like that, or is it anybody?
It's more at-risk kids. But hey, you know what?
Okay.
You go to the website, you fill out an application. We'll review the application, and we don't turn kids away. We can't do that because as I said, every kid to some degree is at risk.
I loved what you said that earlier. Yeah,
exactly. We can't marginalize even at risk kids because every kid
is, whether they come from Rancho Santa Fe or from
exactly
wherever.
Now, you're right. So there's always we'll look at the application and we'll assess it. But I'm telling you, the opportunity to get a kid and a mentor out fishing, out in the outdoors is critical. It doesn't matter where you are, what socioeconomic level you are, and it builds a great foundation for life, and not only for the kids but also for the mentors. They're engaging with that kid, and those are memories they're going to have forever.
Yeah.
Right.
So casthope.org.
Casthope.org. Yeah.
Cast Hope, and so you can
Cast,
fill out
C-A-S-T.
like a
Hope.
cast.
Yeah. So you can go to the website, fill out the application, and the website details everything that we do. And we just want to get you on the water.
And if you want to learn more about Cast Hope, come next Saturday to Alesmith. Right?
Come to Alesmith for the cornhole.
And Alesmith is where again?
It's in Kearney Mesa.
It's in Kearney Mesa. Yeah.
Great
spot.
It's a great spot.
Yeah. And you're gonna have a cornhole tournament.
And
then if you don't want to play cornhole, you can just
eat great food, drink great beers, and
eat
and support the cause.
That's right.
The most important thing,
And get into the silent auction. We've got great auction items.
Yeah.
too.
Like what? Like what are you doing?
If I went through my,
you said Yeti went. You said Yeti really.
Yeti loaded me. My garage looks like
you're like a Yeti cover boy,
right?
That's like
my garage looks like Dick's Sporting Goods right now. It's loaded with Yeti. But we have stuff for not only for the outdoor person, fisherman and hunter, but we have stuff for I see a lot of ladies walking around with the Yeti stuff, the great totes, the great the wine coolers, all that. So we have all these auction items that are appropriate for everyone, not just fishermen, but everybody who's going to the beach, who's going to soccer, whatever. And then we have great fishing stuff. We have some trips we're auctioning off, and then Sean Stiles is going to have this great dinner for 8.
How cool is
that?
So
So it's going to be great.
Rad.
Yeah. At his house.
At a friend's house.
At a friend's
that's
house.
in Escondido, which is insane. Overlooks Lake Hodges. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
how fun is that? So this is again next Saturday evening.
Next
right?
Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Alesmith cornhole tournament. $175 for a team. Or it's $50 just to come in and eat and drink some beer. And
so a team is 2.
2. Yep.
Yeah. So the $175 per couple, or if you bring a buddy or
That's
whatever.
right. Yeah.
Right.
And register through the casthope.org website. So you'll
register
and you go to the events
buy
page.
your tickets there.
Buy your tickets there. Yeah.
For whether you're just coming for hanging out or whatever.
Yep.
All right. Hey, you have another one you want to join us with? There,
Oh,
Rick?
for sure. I mean, they're
one?
so difficult. There were so many great texts here. This is
Yeah, a
morning,
lot of
guys.
great texts.
Conway, can you run through a little bit what a Mako fly looks like? Are you trying to mimic something that he eats, or are you trying to mimic something that they're upset with? That's from Bob and Maggie that are at Palmas de Cortez right now.
All right. Hope you're having fun.
Kind of both. So my flies, I honestly think they look like seabirds. They're these really big, puffy flies that float on the surface. And over the years, I've observed Makos chase down birds in a chum slick. So I kind of went to that, and they
like them.
They like them. And I think they think it's a food item, but it's also irritating because I've seen them chase, storm petrels and phalaropes out of a chum slick because they're in their zone.
Sure.
So they get ticked off at them. So that's the.
And you time yourself.
Yeah, I time myself. So that's the evolution of the shark fly. So it's it might be food, but also they're ticked off at
On
it.
your Instagram, do you show the fly?
Yeah, you can see it. They're
can
just
see
big orange and red flies, big poppers.
And what do you chum with?
Just tuna. Yeah.
Just tuna.
Just tuna. I just use tuna. Yeah.
Just chunking it.
No, not even that. In fact, you rarely see the chunks coming out of the bucket. It's the scent in the water that counts. It's not like Jaws where you're dumping a bunch of blood in the water.
So you just have like some chunks of tuna in a bucket with holes in it.
Yeah, and then I've got a PVC masher, and I just kind of mash it once in a while. That's it.
It's truly a slick.
Doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much, and that's a lot of people over chum. If they're in the area, they're going to find it.
Yeah, right.
And then they find you, and then
because they have like the most incredible senses of any creature on Earth.
Yeah. So, but it's finding the right location. That's the key.
That's the key.
So,
and what's the right location? Water temperature.
Top of the 9 Mile Bank.
Oh, you're letting your secrets out.
Kind of. Not really.
Yeah.
They're around.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky caller or texter is going to win themselves a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
Offshore fishing is on. Hi, this is Doug Kern.
Okay, here we go. Now, for those of you on YouTube and Facebook, you can watch Conway flip it.
I have one.
Because JP has chosen one of the callers there.
Want me to flip?
And then
we'll do when we come back.
Okay.
For the radio audience, here, little sound effect.
Yeah, how many?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Shimano's
4 today.
Hagani body to prevent misalignment of moving parts.
So a
on
number
the heaviest
between
of loads.
1
For all
and
your
8.
Shimano, visit us at Fisherman's
So you want
Landing
me to pick
Tackle
that?
at
Yeah.
Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name
7.
that stands out
Okay.
among anglers
second
is
to last on
Fisherman's
your
Landing,
list.
your top choice in
right.
local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days.
I'm not going
the
to
best
tell you
charter
who it
boats
is
available,
until
and
we
of
flip the
course,
coin.
our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels, too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max
stuck
Quattro.
watching runners
It's
for at
25%
least 10
thinner than
minutes. I mean, that's
standard
a-
Power Pro.
when you think
to
about
get
how
more
long 10
line in
minutes
that
is when you're
small
sitting
reel.
in your
Power
car,
Pro
like,
has a
not
complete
able to
series
when
of
the engine
highly
will go by,
effective
like, you're
lines,
watching
including
time
the
tick
brand
down
new
before the show
Power
starts.
Pro
Like,
Depth
I'm not
Hunter
making it, like,
Offshore with
there
different
was- there was-
colors
Down
every
race pants
100
and then
feet.
down Harper
Perfect for
Drive.
flat fall fishing. Want to learn more?
That's
Check
exactly.
PowerPro.com.
I ended up having to.
I came
San
through. I
Diego,
came a little
the
early.
Make It Ford
I
Summer
came through.
Sales
I was
event
telling
is
Conway about
on. Visit your San
25
Diego County
after,
Ford dealers now and
there
make
was
it
just
your
cones and
best
nobody
summer
around.
yet.
Okay.
Amazing
And then
offers
Conway
and
came
great
in like
selection
maybe
of
10 minutes
Ford
after I did.
vehicles, like the
You had
Built
some
Wild
issues.
Bronco.
Oh, yeah,
wagon
this lady
with
was
a
on
deal
me.
you just can't miss.
It was
Your
weird.
biggest
I must have
adventures
just
are
hit
awaiting.
the
Make
front
it
way
Ford,
Yeah,
of the
the
make
wall
it
coming
yours,
down, and I mean,
make
it was
it
just
now.
like, dude, there was
Only at your
no.
San Diego County
There was
Ford
no
dealer.
break.
They'll be glad
It was
to
thousands
give your
of
boat
people.
the
Like,
love
this
it
is gonna
deserves and install a custom
be one of those
C-Deck kit from Blue Seas
viral
Fabrication.
YouTube
Blue
clips
Seas is the
for
West
the-
Coast only certified C-Deck
Liberty had
fabricator
a really
and
good trip.
installer. C-Deck
That would be fun if
upgrades
we
the
can get
look
the
and
component
feel
of seeing the
any
boats
boat,
coming
old
in
or
next
new.
month. Yeah,
C-Deck
that's cool.
non-skid decking
Those guys
adds
had a really good
comfort,
one.
convenience,
Back on
safety,
Liberty,
and
yeah.
value.
But
Let the
same deal.
experts from
Here's
Blue
everybody.
Seas
Bunch of blue, bunch of
Fabrication
yellows,
custom
like,
fit your deck
sweet.
bridge
It's really
and
good. They did
interiors
a day
with
and a half.
stylish,
Oh.
durable, stain resistant, and easy to clean C-Deck. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com and enhance your fishing experience.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. It is time. Conway's going to do us the honors and flip that prize coin there. We'll see if we have a caller or a texter winning this great.
Here it goes.
Let's do it, buddy. Today we have a texter. So, Pete, you have the info.
Chris in Montana.
Hey,
How about that?
there you go, Chris.
Listening to us from Cascade, Montana. Congratulations.
Let's go
Chris.
shark fishing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you got a new pair of coasters coming your way,
definitely.
Chris.
Hey, Conway, how do we get a hold of you? How do we get involved in Cast Hope?
Casthope.org. Go to the website, check it out, and it's got all the info. And then me, ConwayBowman.com.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was
Love you guys.
Such a great show. Thanks for coming in this morning. And thank you all for watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Let's Talk Hookup radio show on both of those. And of course on 1090 AM. And most importantly, our Let's Talk Hookup app. Thanks to JP, the extraordinary engineer that took care of us today without a flaw today. Thank you very much,
Great
JP,
job, buddy.
for that. We'll be back next. And of course, don't forget Adam. Adam does the extraordinary job on our app. Next Saturday, Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, Wayne Cotto from CCA on Sunday. So that's going to be a couple great shows. We'll see you next week right back here.
Hey, all right. Good stuff, guys.
JP, thank you,
Thanks, buddy. Man,
JP.
so
Flawless.
good having you, bro.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad it was flawless. And for the intros and outros, I just want to let you know, especially that outro, let it fly. If you got more things to say, I'll let it go. It's fine. No worries. There's no cutoffs. There's no anything we have to abide by. So
Oh, okay. So we could go at the end there. We could would have gone a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I might extend that outro actually a little bit.
Yeah, because we have I have 59, so we can go all the way to the top, right?
Yeah, I might actually make that a 2-minute outro.
Okay.
And then you guys will have a lot more time.
So if we hear the music, it's a 2-minute deal.
I'm gonna see if I can get it done where it sounds good with what I have.
Okay,
just
cool.
So it doesn't change anything. For,
all right. Perfect.
That you guys aren't familiar with.
All right.
I'll let you know before the show.
Thanks very much, man. Appreciate it.